our space adventure that we do weekly. Set in Savage Worlds, rule set, Claim the Stars, sci-fi epic. We're going to go around and introduce our players real quick. Shouldn't take too long, and then we're going to do a brief recap, which I'll be kind of leading the way on, and then we'll kind of just pick up right where we left off, exactly where we left off, which the players felt was appropriate given the emotional weight of last session and what occurred. So thank you everyone for joining us, and do not forget that you can help out the players today with channel points. Channel points can be used to give the players raises, bennies, and action cards. It's a good time to go ahead and give those to the players. And so, why don't we start with Matt today? Matt, why don't you tell us who you're playing?
I am playing Arthur Haeckel. He is a young scientist and inventor. We recently met his sister and did some missions with her, and yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And yeah, and so, and well, we just had some. And by the way, I apologize to everyone on the stream if we start dropping frames a lot. I apologize. It's because we're suffering through storms here in Madison, where I live. Tornado watches right now. Hopefully, no warnings, but so we might start dropping frames quite a bit. I apologize, but hopefully you bear with us. You can also find Matt at the links in the chat where he does some wonderful illustrations and stuff like that. You can also hire him to do commissions. Shaun, why don't you tell us who you're playing?
I am playing Spencer. He originally came to the crew as a stowaway on the ship. Unfortunately, he was very bad at keeping a low profile, so he was quickly found in the crew. Realized he had psychic abilities, and he really just desperately wants to make himself useful because he is on the run from the Tanu Klava, which is basically like a police mob. And up with the crew in order.
Shaun, you kind of cutting out a lot there.
Sorry, I was probably just talking real low. He's trying to keep a low profile. The best way to do that is just fly around space. A lot of criminals out in the middle of nowhere. So
yep,
that's a
good way to keep a low profile. Stay in space where people can't find you, away from civilized society. So, and Cliff, why don't you tell us who you're playing today?
I'm playing Aston Courtney. He is the son of a wealthy businessman who is joined up with the company that the other players are working for, and they're kind of working in tandem with one another. And throughout this adventure that they've been on together and doing these different things on different planets, they've grown into a kind of a weird, haphazard friendship. And he's kind of starting to feel like he fits in with the group. But he's a smooth talker with a short temper, and a damn good shot.
That's right, he is. That D12 shooting dice. Last session, we really saw how good of a shooter he was when he decided to use multi-action shooting. So, and last but not least, joining us for his first session, we've got Brandon in the far right corner. So he's going to be playing. Well, I'll let him tell you. Let him tell you who he's playing, in however much detail he chooses. Brandon, why don't you tell us just briefly who you're playing today?
Well, first off, I want to say hello. It's a pleasure meeting everybody here, and hoping everybody watching has fun. I know last session one of the other players ended up losing their character, and I think everybody needed another Timmy, so here I am. So tonight I'll be playing Clint Burrell. I don't want to spoil too much, as I like to kind of expose him more through the gameplay, but he's a pilot, and he has been on the run for at least a few jumps. He has a group of men with him. He's come to the same planet that the rest of the group has, and I figure we'll take it from there and see what happens.
Very cool. Very cool. And so, very cool. And so last session, so I'll handle the recap, just for at least some of it. So your characters arrived on Felici. It's called Felici 1 is what some people would call it, for lack of a better. I apologize once again real quick to everyone watching for the dropped frames. I'm looking down here and I'm seeing crazy amounts of dropped frames up and down. There's nothing I can do about it. Hopefully the storms will solve it here soon. It can only be because of that. So hopefully I'm not killing y'all too much. But hopefully it'll stabilize soon. But it's called Felici. There's no point in adding the 1 at the beginning because Felici is the only planet or planet or any kind of planetary-like body in this system besides asteroids and asteroid belts in this system. So you can call it Felici 1, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, but you guys arrived to Felici and in search of Alice Hanover, Levi Roosevelt's. You call her daughter, but technically she's his ex-wife's daughter. But he arrived here with you guys also to help him out in search of her as a favor from his ex-wife, and to stop her from being captured by Dracotech or killed by Dracotech. And yeah, she's a spitting image of him in a lot of ways, right? Yeah, that's one of those things, right? Did they prove it wasn't his daughter, right? But like as far as attitude and mannerisms and like how she acts and like the path she's chosen in life is very much like Levi Roosevelt's, enter the security forces, that sort of stuff, cast off the shackles of the emotion inhibiting drugs of Palisadia and those sorts of things, and she escaped from Dracotech's shackles, and so she escaped here in a chance to start a new life, and with her husband. Unfortunately, her past followed her and chased her. Dracotech came after her. However, so did her desire to still find and live that life of a soldier. She discovered the resistance against the Vicanian Empire here, and she fell in with that same love, and she took up arms with them. So when you guys got here, you expected to find someone that you could help in dire need. You found someone that was helping to lead an army. So, and then quickly you realized this place was becoming a war zone around you. The whole town or settlement of Ino became a war zone practically as soon as you arrived. As Vicania arrived, Dracotech was here as well shortly after you got here. Dracotech fired EMP missiles at your ship, blasting up the electronics of your ship and damaging the landing gear of your vessel. You tried desperately to try to stop Vicanian forces from getting to the resistance soldiers. Unfortunately, that caused you guys to get damaged and hurled off the road, taking major wounds. Fortunately, Arthur and Astra were able to patch you up. But eventually, you were able to meet back up with them, patch yourselves back up, meet back up with them, and figured out that the resistance had a major weapon that could save them all and protect the resistance. Because they knew if the resistance forces were found and they were all taken back to the Vicanian forces, resistance would be done. All their efforts would be futile. And so they wanted to launch a weapon that would defeat that cruiser in space. A weapon that was a massive fusion torpedo cluster that had numerous other torpedoes that would launch from it once it reached the upper stratosphere. Arthur worked with them in concert, helped get the weapon ready to launch. The rest of you went out into the city of Ino, the settlement, to find Alice Hanover, who was pinned down in the settlement. You you thought by Vicanian soldiers, but when you got there, it was Dracotech. By the time you found them, created a diversion first for the resistance troops, so they could finish the repairs. Got to them. Arthur was able to catch back up with you, and you got there. You defended them all. Oh, thank you, Mark Knight. Redeeming the crew raise. Very cool. That'll help them out. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us also. Cliff, I'm sorry. But anyways, thank you for Mark Knight for helping us out with that. And so Cliff and Levi and Spencer and Arthur all got there. You guys found that Alice was wounded. She was near death. She was basically, there was no way you could get her back safely, right? So Levi had the excellent idea of sending the armor out, the armor bot, to let her climb inside the armor, the new armor bot that he had made to let the ship's AI core, to get inside of it. And so the ship's AI core gets inside of the armor bot, and she gets inside of it, and you guys help fight off the Dracotech forces, saving her. However, Levi gets mortally wounded, goes down in the fight, and you guys hear the sound of an APC approaching near. The firing of its slug cannon explodes, sending a blast your way. Dust, mud, everything flying through the air, probably an acre high, clouding your vision, coughing wildly. You couldn't see. You were stunned, blinded by everything around you. Yet, thankfully, the tank shell missed him, but unfortunately, Levi was buried under, feet and feet and feet of debris. He was already mortally wounded and dying, but now you couldn't dig him out. There was no way you could save him. No way you could recover him. You don't know. He might be dead still. He might have been obliterated, but you could not see. You could not see what was left of him. That's the terrible thing about it. You can't see to save him. And there you all are, the APC rolling closer to you. The sound now filling your ears as you're all left in this scene here. What do you guys do now? Alice screaming at Alice is now, I guess. Well, no, actually, you guys were all running away, I believe, in the last session, turning back and trying to get away now. And so, what are you all doing as you're turning back and running away? Are we all see y'all kind of like trying to organize and run away, or do we try to see y'all just running and as quick as you can, or what does it look like?
Well, let me just start off by saying I'm sorry. Let's give Brandon a nice welcoming to Savage Worlds.
Each player draws a card from the adventure deck and may play an additional card this session. Sometime soon, the party is subject to a strong and dangerous attack from enemies or creatures out for blood. Oh, geez. So each player draws a card from the adventure deck. Okay, so each person will get an extra adventure card. Mm-hmm. Okay, nice.
And everybody but me will be able to play two. Well,
yeah.
I'm going to play two as well, but
Yeah.
I already played one.
Party is subject to a strong and dangerous attack from enemies. Ooh. Okay. All right. But I get to choose what kind of enemies. This would be a great time, everyone, to spend your channel points on giving them more adventure cards, give them more options, by the way. Choose from great cards, everyone. So, but I'll give them out their cards. It just says you guys, you may play an additional card, so I don't get to give you more cards. You just get to choose more additional cards. So everyone in the chat, just give them out some more cards. Spend those channel points on them. So
I thought you said we each draw an extra card.
We each get an extra card.
Oh, you do? Okay, so I'll give you an extra additional card. Okay.
And with that being said, to answer the initial question, Aston's fucked up in the head right now.
Yes, maybe
after
your ears
watching-
are ringing, your eyes are filled with brown dust. That's kind of what
And
you're feeling right now.
and mentally too. I mean, we just lost
Yes.
Levi, so he's just
You're holding his cowboy hat in one hand,
Yep.
and his battle helmet in the other.
Yeah. Well, I gave the cowboy hat to
That's right, Alice.
To Alice.
That's right. She's not wearing it.
But
though.
yeah, so he is on, like, basically he's teeter-tottering between like snapping and just barely holding his shit together. So depending
You want to make a
on
spirit
how
roll to
this-
decide?
Sure.
Yeah, teetering, like he's right on the edge of that 4 and 5. Just success. Yeah.
Yep. So he's not well off right now, and depending on what happens, he's probably going to handle this next situation pretty poorly.
Okay. Okay, so you guys see Aston. He's lumbering with you all, but he looks like he's not handling himself very well right now.
Well, I think Arthur is probably similar. I mean, he's not sure what to do at this point, so he's just running along with everybody else because, well, Levi came up with the plans. He's in charge.
Yeah, I'm not
Now
sure
he's
if
gone,
Aston is
just
running
suddenly.
right now, though. I'm not sure if Aston is running because he's stunned and shaken and barely holding his wits about him. So if you're running along, you may have to pull Aston along with you.
In general, in at the end of last scene, you guys literally had to pull me away from digging through the sand to try to find Levi. So, yeah.
What is Alice doing?
Alice is up ahead of you guys, walking up ahead of you, looking for roots to get away. She's looking past all of you, about 30 yards. She's run up ahead, looking at like streets and alleys, and she's looking at roots up ahead because now she's able to move better because she's got the suit on. So she's looking down streets and up alleys, and she keeps looking back at you all. And she sees what's going on with all of you, but she's seen this kind of thing before, so she's not surprised by it. She's just trying to pick up the slack.
Then I would say Arthur is pulling Aston along, basically with or toward Alice. So at least that's one anchor point there is.
Very cool. What about Spencer?
Spencer is trying to keep up. Mostly, it's not because he's severely wounded or dying or anything. Just he's so upset. He's trying to choke back sobs, crying, and trying to run at this. He's kind of a mess. He's trying to man up.
Make a spirit
It's not
roll.
working.
Make a spirit roll.
It's not working.
Yeah, let's see if it is working for him. Yeah, he's fighting back the sobs. Yeah, he's doing good. Okay, very cool. And so he's he's moving alongside Aston. He's also doing his best to keep up, but Matt seems to be keeping control of his person better than either of you. And but Alice finally comes back to both of you and looks at Spencer because Arthur is handling Aston, and looks at Spencer and gets down close to you while your ears are ringing and gets up to your face. You're taller now because you're 16 now and your strength is D6, and you've hit a growth spurt. So you're as tall as she is in the powered armor, and she looks you straight in the eyes, and she puts her hands on your shoulders, and she says, "Look, kid, we need you. Eyes here. Look at me. Something bad just happened. I'm sorry about it. But we need you. Eyes up. There's something really bad rolling this way, rolling like thunder, and it'll kill you just like thunder. he'll kill you just like lightning. So let's get going. I know what you saw was just bad. And I loved Levi, but we gotta go. You can tell she's not very good at the pep talks.
Totally Levi's daughter.
Keep moving.
Did it work? Did it work for you?
But yeah. Doesn't say anything, just keeps running.
Okay. So, okay. Did Arthur manage to get you pulled along, Aston?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of just like blank face, just staring at the ground, not showing any sort of concern for the things that are going on around him at this moment, just kind of lost in his own thoughts. And every now and again, you know, Arthur's got to like snap him out of it, like, hey, we got to go.
Okay. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, and then maybe like at some point, maybe you use like Arthur as your focus point, maybe to help you, right, through all the chaos. I mean, that would make sense, right? Kind of keep you moving. And so we see you guys keep moving. And so normally I would be like, this is a great opportunity for a quick encounter, but it seems like you guys are essentially being led by Alice Hanover, right? As opposed to you guys making rolls due to the emotional state. So we're going to jump ahead. We're just going to jump to Brandon real quick. So, Brandon, you and your crew landed. You and your crew landed here months ago. Okay. We can decide the exact time or date if you want, or at least we'll say an undetermined amount of time ago. Actually, I'll let you decide how much time that was. We'll say that. But you've been here some time. Okay. But over time, you've gotten sicker and sicker. Okay? Because jumping doesn't take long. But you were on your way to Belt Rider Shiv when your ship when your ship took the damage, right? Yeah. Or when your ship started, we'll say it broke down. It didn't take damage, but it broke down, right? And so that's how you got here.
Yeah, I figured it was a scavenged piece of shit anyway, so.
Yeah. Did we decide whether you scavenged the ship or you stole it?
Based on where he's come from, it was a little bit of both. Like, it was an older ship that was being prepped to be decommissioned when Clint and friends grabbed it and made a run for it. Yeah. So it was already on its last legs.
Okay, we'll say that it was meant to be. It was in the breaker yards, so it was the ship license belongs to the contract, the people who essentially run the breaker yards. But it wasn't a ship that was, you know what I mean, was actively used at the moment. Yeah. And you guys had to essentially keep her going long enough to get here. And so you guys have gotten here, and unfortunately, you guys have ran into tough encounters along the way. So some of you have dropped off due to violence and damage and wolf raids, which wolf is like pirates, right?
Okay.
But now, some of you have been taking hits because of what's been happening the last several hours. So you were held up in a house or a structure in Aino. And with what looks to be a few of your fellow crewmen that are left. And you escaped with a few of your fellow shipbreaker comrades. And I'm assuming these guys aren't soldiers that you escaped with, right? No. They're just pretty much like technicians, that kind of stuff like you, right? Salvage workers.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, some of them probably had a little bit of basic training from how they were raised, but for most of them, they're non-combatants. They're just blue-collar workers stuck in space.
Very cool. Very cool. And so we see you kind of you think you're in like an abandoned house. It's a 2-story structure, and you entered in from the second story because there was an outside set of stairs, and it looks like it's like a modular structure. Like they just kind of like plopped it down here at some point when they settled this place, and it's just covered in rust and that sort of stuff, and covered in dust and everything like that. And it looks like it's like barely standing. All the windows are shattered out, probably from nearby APC rounds blasting off, that kind of stuff. The last several hours have been a war zone, and I'm assuming that since your character wasn't like engrossed in the conflict, you just kind of like held up in here, basically, essentially trying to wait for it to die off, probably.
Yeah, I mean, him and his crew, they got no real fight in this. They just want out of the area. So hiding while the bullets are flying, and then seeing things scavenge the last parts they need to get the ship up and going, get some space between them and
Good deal.
all this.
Scavenging. Very cool. And I know it's a good place to do that. So you guys are held up near the marketplace. And so some of your men have went out to scavenge for actually, I'll say you're with them, actually. So you've left the place where you've been staying, and you've went out with a couple of your men, not all of them, but a couple of your men, and you've went out to scavenge a nearby garage to look for parts to get your ship operational. I mean, it needs well more than a couple parts, but you're just hoping to find what little you can, right? And you entered a structure, and right now you're searching the place up and down, right? Looking for what you can. And while you're doing this, suddenly the door just burst open, and you see a woman like coming in, covered head to toe in powered armor, dust all over her face, with kind of like a little bit of salt in her hair, like salt-colored hair, mostly brown, and she's got a strong chin, and she's got some sort of like cybertech device on the side of her forehead, and she's carrying a weapon. And behind her, you can see silhouettes of others. And like I said, there's two more of your allies with you. And remember, you're feeling sick right now, so we're gonna give you make a vigor roll, please. If you fail this, you'll start with 2 points of fatigue. If you make it, you'll get 1. So let me teach you how to roll dice in this game. Okay, so how you roll dice in this game is you can do it one of two ways. You can double click any of the dice symbols, okay, on your character sheet, or you can just pick and drag them over to the chat log, whichever one. I tend to just pick them up and drag them. I don't know why, but you can do it either way. Okay. So yeah, you got a success. So we'll only start with 1 fatigue. And essentially that means that the sickness is affecting you, right?
Okay.
And so this means that you're going to get a -1 to all actions.
Okay.
And so she comes in and she immediately starts like aiming the weapon at you. And she comes into the room and like comes stepping in so that the rest of the people can come in behind her. And she's got the gun pointed at you. What do you do?
So as she's coming in, I just hands are up. Our rifle's already slung on my back. I'm looking at the other guys, just back, back, and just kind of make myself small and unassuming while waving them down.
She says,
We're not here for any of this that's going on. It's just let us go. We'll be right out of here.
no, not happening. Get in the corner.
All right, I moves towards the corner.
She says, Aston, Arthur, Spencer, get in here.
Arthur moves Aston in.
After him.
You guys are moved into a garage near the market. She says, "This will keep us safe for a little bit, at least till that APC move somewhere else and thinks we're gone." She looks at you again, Clint, and says, "Stay over there until I say otherwise." She looks back at you all, says, "You guys gonna be all right?"
Are we gonna be all right?
Look, I know it's kind of a coarse thing to say. Look, I know, and I feel terrible. I'm sorry. I went into soldier mode. God, Levi. God, that's terrible of me. Jeez.
This is very obviously private. How about we just go?
No.
Who the fuck are
Y'all-
you?
Stay. Stay.
Okay.
I don't trust you yet. You're obviously here scavenging. And you're not
That's the only
resistance.
way to leave.
And does Clint have any sort of insignia on, anything that's identifiable of any sort of faction or anything like that?
No, he's just wearing just a plain jumpsuit.
Did you rip the patch off the jumpsuit?
Yeah, there's no patches. They want nothing to do with that place.
Yeah, there's a ripped spot where a patch used to be from a jumpsuit.
Okay.
I mean, and with the time on the planet, it's obviously been repaired a few times. There's, you can see where they've taken needle and thread and try to keep it together. And it's not just him; it's the two guys with him too.
Yeah, there's two other guys. All of them appear to be technicians or, they got maybe one of them's got a welding helmet attached to the top of his helmet, top of his head, kind of strapped on. One of them has a plasma torch, magnetically strapped to his hip, that kind of stuff like that. They're obviously technicians types. So, looks like Clint looks weak and tired, and you notice he's been coughing. The other two obviously look really weak and frail. One of them, however, the one without the welding helmet, looks really frail and kind of weak, and he's coughing a whole lot. And he actually, when you look up Aston, he coughs up some kind of blood.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
We've been on this planet for about a month. This started happening after we got here. It's as far as we know, it's some local bug. I don't know. It's been a while since we've been planet side.
Alice looks at all of you and says, "There's no bugs on this planet."
Well, I'm not one to argue.
I'm just gonna cover my face. Kind of pull the rifle off of my back and hold it.
Are Aston or Spencer looking bad physically? Does it look like they've been injured? I assume not. I don't see any injuries.
No one got injured in that last fight, and y'all healed all the injuries from the previous one.
Okay.
So if we have any other
Alice
superficial-
has 3 wounds, but she's in the powered armor right now. That's the only thing keeping her walking.
Right. So Arthur's kind of getting his bearings together a little bit better, and he says to Alice, "Weren't you near death earlier? Do you need tending to? I know a little medicine. I might be able to help."
Well, the suit doesn't have health tracking or pulse monitoring, but I think I'm okay. I'll make it till I get out of the suit.
Okay.
You think she's... Make a notice roll. She's shrugging it off. You don't believe her for one moment. She's just trying to play the tough soldier.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way Arthur could just be like, well, I'm going to do what I need to do anyway, because she's in power armor, and she's a soldier.
Yeah.
So for now, I guess he'll
she's
let
just
it go.
trying to be the tough one because you guys just went through like a lot of emotional trauma for Levi, you know.
Well,
Um,
she doesn't want it. My guys, they're each got some. Can you help my guys?
yeah, Arthur's not really wanting to stay still too long, and yeah, I'll take a look at you and your guys.
What
Put
is
my
in
hand
this
on your
room?
chest.
It's
Well,
just
it's my guys first, please. Thank you.
Yeah, Aston knows some healing stuff as well.
No, I'm gonna put my hand on your chest.
On mine?
Yeah, and stop you from
Oh,
going over there.
they're injured.
Yeah, but if they're sick with something, you could get it.
we're in a garage, right?
Yes, you are.
So I'm gonna start like running.
You
I
gotta
can give you
Shaun, you're cutting out a lot for
you
some
gotta
reason.
turn that auto feature off in Discord.
Yeah,
Yeah, the auto.
the threshold.
You'll just have to manually mute yourself sometimes when you're not speaking. Yeah, the auto threshold. Turn it off.
Input
that auto
sensitivity. Yeah.
Glad I haven't had the
Appreciate it.
conversation yet with you guys about uploading our stuff to Spotify. So, because this audio would be fucked. But yeah, so back to y'all's conversation about oh, sorry, let Spencer handle that because he was gonna chime in on that.
I'm just looking for
It's under
oh no, I found that. I'm working it right now.
okay.
Yeah, we can actually hear you. This is really weird. I think it was like the first time since I started playing.
So right there.
Because he's close to the mic.
Well, yeah, and I turned down the sensitivity.
There you go.
So anyway, so if we're in a garage, I'm just looking for face masks to give those guys because I don't want anybody approaching them, even to help them, because that's how our doctor turns into a plague zombie.
Yeah, they have masks just in case there's like cesium fuel leaks and that kind of stuff. So yeah, they have masks for that. So there you go.
Okay, so I just find them and I like just throw them over there. I'm just like, put these on. We've been here for a while and we're not coughing.
When did this start? Where did it start? You said here on the planet?
It's when we first started feeling it, yeah, maybe a month ago. It's a couple of my guys, they can't even walk anymore. I know it's our entire crew seems to have it.
And
We don't.
I heard something about scavenging. What was the last thing you scavenged before this started?
We've been trying to get our
Does
ship back
Clint
up and running.
does Clint know what's making him sick?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I just want to be clear. Okay.
So, now the entire crew has no idea why.
Got it. Cool.
Or what was done to them.
Okay. Me and him know, but his character doesn't know.
Arthur has the medicine, like the healing skill, actually, right?
Yes.
Would he be able to diagnose in any way, or attempt to diagnose, I guess?
If you have the healing skill, you can. That it would be diagnosing. Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess if they have their masks on.
Yeah, then I'll begrudgingly step aside.
All right.
Like if this guy fucking
Okay.
coughs
So
again,
you
I'm gonna
strap
shoot him.
the mask on for like that kind of stuff. Well, it's not really meant for this purpose, but it will hopefully help. You know. Best you got, right? All right,
This is
so,
true.
And at least he's covering his mouth over there. Like this is a good example of what to do if you have coronavirus. Everyone. Oh God, I said the dirty word on YouTube. Don't kill me, YouTube, when I upload this later, please.
You just have to
Yeah.
bleep it out.
Don't kill it. Yeah, I'll have to bleep it. I said the dirty word. All right. Okay, so Arthur, you step over to them, and Alice gives you a look like she doesn't like this, but you step over anyways, I'm assuming. So make a healing roll. Since it's just fatigue, I won't give you a penalty. All right, sweet.
Ooh.
Okay, so you quickly determine that there's nothing. See, I'm assuming you have some kind of healing kit or something like that. Do you have something like that?
Yes.
Okay, which one is it? Just curious.
Let
Is
me
it
look.
something that has uses? Like, will it run out?
It doesn't. It just says healing kit.
Okay. Did you get it from, like, the Savage Worlds core book?
I have no idea.
Do not remember. Okay, that's fine. We will just go with it and just zoom through it. Okay.
It looks like I made it. Just
Just you picked the
inputted a
toolkit.
custom.
You probably picked the
item.
toolkit and then
Yeah.
grabbed it. Okay. Okay. Cool. Interesting. Wait, you made it custom? You didn't purchase it or anything? Or we just said y'all had one on the ship? That's probably what we did. We probably said y'all had one in a. We probably
Yeah,
said
we
y'all
discussed
had
it.
one and you could get and gather supplies from the medical bay. Is that what we said? Probably.
That's what I was assuming. We
Okay.
did have a doctor at one point.
Okay.
So.
Then okay, sweet. We'll just keep rolling with it then. Okay. Then okay, sweet. So you make the healing skill, and we'll say that you have the supplies to do that for sure. And so you have all these sorts of equipment in it and stuff like that. They can scan him and that kind of stuff. And you start using those equipment, and you quickly determine that there's nothing physically wrong with them. Like there's no. Well, there's physical ailments, but you're not able to determine, like, that he has a cold. You're not able to determine, like he has a high temperature, but he has no, like he has no, like, bronchitis.
Cold virus or
He has no, right.
So you just find the symptoms, not
Yes.
a cause.
not the
Right.
cause.
Precisely. And now you're quite intrigued, Mr. Arthur, who has the curious hindrance, is likely intrigued at this point. I'm not going to tell you how to play your character, but it would likely. I just think Arthur would be curious by what he's seeing, because this is very strange to you indeed.
Yeah.
And Clint, do you have like some obvious outward signs of this?
Like I said, mostly it's the coughing. He's obviously
No, outward
whiter
signs
than he should be.
of what
Oh.
goes on inside, like what's inside you.
No, I think we decided probably it's just all interior, so
Okay, I
that way
couldn't
we have
remember.
absolutely no idea.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, but yeah,
Well, I don't find anything physically wrong with you, so I'm not sure what's going on.
you can try to give him medication to treat the symptoms.
Well, I mean, even if you don't know what's wrong, is there anything that you can do? He's coughing blood. I'm not a medical person, but I know that's bad.
Yes, I concur. Again, I'm not sure what's in this kit. It's mobile, so there can't be a whole lot of testing. I don't know.
You can
could
make a healing
test-
roll to try to heal someone. Yeah,
Okay, I'll go ahead and do
but
that.
as far as
I was thinking, well, could I test
but it's-
blood?
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff would require a medical bay, right?
Okay,
So,
healing roll it is.
but you could treat
barely.
symptoms, right?
He's going to attempt to treat symptoms and see what happens.
Okay, so you can essentially take Mark off one fatigue for his friend. So you give him a dose of some kind of medical, some kind of medicine, and that's the best you can come up with right now.
Does he start looking a little better?
Maybe you put him up to like a breathing treatment or something like that for a little bit, for a few minutes. Maybe that helps.
Okay.
You know.
Well, if it's effective, he'd probably go ahead and try it on the others.
Okay. Sure. Make a healing check on them.
Who?
Well, that dude, he's just dead.
Unfortunately, you can't help him, this next person. And I guess Clint will be the last one if you want to try to help him.
Sure.
Okay, so Clint, you can mark off your fatigue.
Okay. Now, how am I going to hide my coughs?
Well, he puts you through breathing treatment, right? And for about 10 minutes. Thank you for hosting me, Robin. Thank you, appreciate it.
Robin's here.
It's wonderful to have you. So Brandon, yeah, so the breathing treatment is helping you to feel better. And the cough's fading away. You're getting some of your zeal back, right? And so, how are you feeling now?
It's probably still sweaty, just like when you're starting to get like over the flu, but starting to breathe a little bit easier. And it's thank you for helping me and my men. I I got about another 4 or 5 guys back on our ship. They're worse. Like we're the last 3 that can actually walk. Is there anything? Would you be willing to come back and help?
Do
Like
you have
anything to
a
alleviate
medical
their
bay?
suffering? No, I don't believe we do.
Because I'm not sure how much I can do with just my little kit. I mean, I'd have to confer with my my crew whether we'd allow you guys, or can allow you guys, or how we could allow you guys onto our ship, which is also damaged currently. So, but we do have a medical bay.
Well, if you can save my men, you can take whatever parts you need from my ship. We'll scavenge more later.
Oh, that would be helpful. What do you think, Aston and Spencer? Can we help them in exchange for parts?
Alice comes over to Aston.
Right in front of him.
Well, you've seen the ship. I don't know how
Off
bad
to the
it is.
side, I'm a little bit worried about using up all of our medical supplies on guys we don't know. Only doctor potentially getting space virus, whatever this is. Can we use their parts? What makes people know? What's that? Say we get the parts.
How bad is the ship?
Did Arthur have a chance to check it? I don't remember.
You were
Yeah,
in it.
you had
Yeah.
It was mostly electronics issues, but
Mhm.
you did suffer some damage to the engines and your landing gear when the EMP hit
Okay.
and caused your landing gear to
Right.
take damage, and the ship fell to the ground.
Right.
But it looked like it could get flyable once you did the repairs, the electronics.
Okay. I mean, did it look like we'd need a lot of spare parts? Doesn't sound like we would.
Just wiring mostly, and electronics workup. So if the group has electronics replacements and that kind of stuff, and wiring replacements. So
Okay.
because you could have fried breakers and
Listen, I don't know anything about healing. If his crew can't even walk, I'm sure as fuck not carrying anybody. We need to figure out how we're getting off this planet first and foremost before we worry about running your own private clinic.
Alice is now beside
Again,
Aston. As you recall, Alice says, you don't have a pilot. You're not going anywhere. So you get a pilot.
This is true.
Aren't there pilots in your organization?
One, they're part of a resistance. They have a mission. And two, we don't have many. I don't even know if they're still alive. We haven't got a chance to count the dead yet. Vicanians are still marching around the city.
That's fucking great.
I mean, piloting's not hard. You just hit the button, the AI handles it, unless you're getting shot at, in which case you'll want somebody there. But
So you know how to fly.
yes, if that's what it takes to save my men, I'll fly for you. Just save my men.
Or is this just a ploy to get us to do that?
I mean, we were scavenging parts in the garage, and Big Miss Shiny there won't let us leave. So y'all came into here after us.
Alice just speaks up and says, "Look, I'm just concerned about who you're allied with. We've got Dracotech, we got Vicanians running around. It's just an issue. It's a security issue. So, I mean, I'm pretty confident that you're not Vicanian now at this point. Wouldn't you guys agree?"
No, I'm an Anassan.
Anassian is Vicanian space.
Wasn't always. We just want out of the Vicanian area, out of their space.
How much would I know about Anassians?
Anassian space was free planetary state. Had remained so for a very long time, much like Ilar. Was much smaller as far as like political power, and had remained that way for like a century or so. It was quite valuable though, for what it had, which was a lot of mining potential, stuff like that. Shipyards, that kind of stuff. They did a lot of things like that for other corporations, stuff like that. But the planetary state always remained free until Vicanians showed up years ago and basically just stole it and took it. So it was basically their first beachhead in the Southern Reach. Sorry, Spencer. Sorry, Shaun.
So Alice wants to know if he's Vicanian or what?
She's just concerned about his allegiances.
Try a mind reading.
Very cool. Sure. All right. So mind reading, Clint, is a power that allows Spencer to link minds with you. Allows him to create a telepathic connection between. Sorry, that's mind link. My bad. Mind reading is an opposed roll versus the target smart. Success allows the character to gain one truthful answer from the subject. Target is aware of the mental intrusion unless the mind reader gets a raise. The GM may apply modifiers based on the subject's mental hindrances or current state of mind. Yeah, so yeah, why don't you, Clint, roll your smarts? And Spencer, he's going to know you do this unless he gets a raise. So, Spencer, make a Sonics roll. His mind is like a steel jaw and blocking you out like a wall, actually, just keeping you out, and you just feel him like forcing you back out. And Clint, you don't know how to describe what just kind of happened because you've had very limited contact with psychers, but just something just kind of like something happened in your mind, almost like someone was pushing into it or something was pushing into it, almost like it wasn't just you in there for a brief moment.
Yeah, Clint's just grimacing a bit, and his hands slowly moving back towards the rifle. And he's looking at him. Are you with the Vicanians? He's just looking at all of them.
Alice says, "I assure you we're not."
How long have we been here? In this garage?
15 minutes probably. Talking actually no longer than that. Sorry, because he's healed. Arthur's healed all of them, which healing checks are 10 minutes each, so at least 30 minutes. So probably 10 minutes for that. So 40 minutes. 40 minutes at least.
But an hour, I get power points.
Oh, okay. You probably spent an hour since that fight, at least.
Only 5, so it's not a ton.
Well, when she says that, Clint will stop slowly creeping his hand towards his weapon. And he looks over at Arthur. It's like, I'll believe you. You helped us, and you had no reason to.
He says,
We're with.
Sorry.
Oh well, Arthur's just gonna say, well, we're with Astra Unum. That's why we're here. Well, sort of. Why we're here. We came to find Alice for Levi, but yes.
I don't know what that is. But
Our previous
if you're not
captain.
with the Canyons, it's fine. So look, if you got a way off this planet, a way of saving my men, do what you can to save them. You can scavenge the parts from her ship. I will fly you to wherever you want to go. You can have a gun to my head the entire time, and you can get a pilot that you can trust after it.
How about this? You and your men can't stay here held up in these garages while the Vicanians are marching through the city. Your name?
No,
right?
Not ideal.
What is your name?
Clint Burrell.
Clint. Okay, Clint. We're held up in a garage in the middle of a war zone. You gotta admit this is pretty crazy, right? Eventually, you're gonna get found. It's just a matter of time. We have a poor base, I'll admit, but we have numbers. Okay? So why don't you come back with us? We'll spend some time trying to figure out this mess and get the Vicanians out of here. Or you guys can decide something collectively different. Okay? But if everybody just comes with me, we can get somewhere safer. Your men, everybody. How about that?
That's fine. We'll go with you. Like I said, we got some guys back at the ship that can't move, but I reckon they're as safe as they can be at this point.
Well, you know they'll be there when you get back.
Yeah, hopefully still breathing, but there's nothing I can do about that anyways. So I'm fine. This is our best chance. So does that mean we get to leave the garage?
Together. Let's all go.
All right, and Clint looks at his couple guys and motions his heads toward the door and waits for Alicia.
Alice.
Alice, sorry. To make the first move to leave.
Okay. Do you try to radio back to communicate back to your fellow men at the ship?
No, I not yet.
Okay. All right. So you all head back to the Resistance station?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean into Arthur while walking. I think that this is gonna be our only shot off of this fucking planet.
I don't know what else we can do, so I agree.
And Alice,
Yes.
what are you gonna do now after all of this?
I'm not thinking past finding my husband.
Whatever happened to Anton?
Carlton?
Was it Carlton? Anton? Oh,
He's
Anton
back at
was
the
the
science
guy.
station.
Okay.
Yeah, he's back at the science station. She says, after that, she says, to be honest, he came here to escape, and I promised to do the same for him. I feel like I broke a promise. I think it's about time I fulfilled it.
Let's do what we need to do. We still gotta uphold our promise to Levi.
Amen to that. Otherwise, this was all in vain. At that point, she kind of grabs the hat and holds it closer. And so you guys all march towards the science station, trying to avoid the few Vicanians that you do encounter, their patrols and troop movements they have. And you guys reach the science station. The science station is, as I described before, multiple levels, kind of built on what was once sort of a what do they call it, like a planetarium type thing, a telescope, a massive telescope, but then butchered and turned into a essentially like an above ground silo for a fusion torpedo, and you guys sneak into the facility, and once you're inside, you find that many of them are. Well, actually, first let me describe what's outside. You see the remains of a large battle. Many dead on both sides. You see destroyed APCs. You see Vicanian soldiers dead everywhere. You see that the front of the science station has been blasted out. Damage occurred to it. Inside, you find on the first level, soldiers dead everywhere. It appears that after the fusion torpedo went off, Vicanian forces here on the ground knew, at least the ones on the ground, obviously, they didn't have a command above in space, but the ones here knew where the weapon launched from. And there was no stopping them from attacking the place. And Alice is here, looking around, and she's like, "Oh no, how many are alive?" And she's looking through where the weapon's readied. And so I need all of you guys to kind of like tell me, this is kind of a quick encounter. Tell me how you're searching through the place and how you're passing through the area and helping everyone and like getting through here, because this is a quick encounter where you're going to could potentially take wounds, because there might be scraps of Icanians still in the place, or scraps of or potential other hazards, right? Because it is a remaining like hazard zone, right? So why don't you tell me how you're helping the team progress through this place to go find former allies or to get information about what occurred here. So, like, what does that look like? What skill are you using, perhaps? Or in the narrative, what are you doing to help the team? So, we'll start with the three players that have played with us in the past, and then we'll do Brandon last so you can get an idea of what this is. So why don't we start with Arthur?
Does this facility have internal sensors at all?
Yes.
Okay. I think he's going to attempt to get them up and running and use them to find life signs or heat signatures. Can we do that?
Cool. So electronics.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to Benny that.
Yeah.
Benning a Benny. Reminding everybody on the chat, you can spend your channel points to help players out, give them more bennies. Okay, so that is a raise. Good deal. That will give you guys 2 successes to use towards getting your goal. What about Cliff? How was Aston helping the group?
So you said there may be like remaining troops in there.
Yes, sir.
All right, then I'm gonna keep the I'm gonna sling the rifle and pull the pistol out. And just be at the ready if anything shows up to shoot it.
Okay. Cool. Alice is the wild card, so I'll allow her to help in this as well. So. Oh, nope, she did not help at all. So.
I got a raise. It's okay.
Okay. So. All right. So. What about Spencer? And Spencer, how are you helping?
Spencer's going to use.
You still have to roll, by the way, because you can get failures and critical failures and take wounds. So you still have to roll.
Right. Spencer was going to use his psychic abilities. Mostly, I'm thinking illusions to prevent us from being found.
Okay.
So if we enter a certain area, just distracting.
Cool. Okay, mark off the PowerPoints for using illusion.
Look at us.
Okay. And so, Brandon, you kind of get the idea of what they're doing. Basically, they're rolling skills to kind of describe in the narrative how they're moving. It essentially removes the need for like a complex, like room by room breakdown of an entire scene of going through like a whole facility if it isn't like needed, right? And we're just going to narrate out the exploration of this. And you just kind of tell me, like, in what way you're helping the group.
So I think with Clint not really being familiar with the area, he's mostly just going to keep his guys kind of tucked away and safe since they have no combat abilities whatsoever, and he's just going to be on the lookout. So unless there's an issue with it, I'd use notice, just kind of watch out for incoming enemies, or if he hears a firefight somewhere where there may be groups of pocket of resistance in the fight or something of that nature.
I think it
Is
sounds
that
good.
valid use?
Yeah, that sounds good. Make a notice roll. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so Clint Burl, so he fails. So Clint, you'll suffer a wound from this. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So that's only because it's a quick encounter that is combat in nature or potential combat in nature. Okay?
Well, would this be something where it'd be better for me to use a Benny now, or should I have declared that earlier?
You can declare a Benny now if you want to avoid it.
Okay. Well, let me go and do that then.
Okay.
Just drag a Benny over the notice die, and it'll re-roll it and spend it at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can, if you can either do it that way or you can just do it like you did. Either way is fine.
Yeah.
That way seems much better.
So, yeah. Sweet. Okay, so you got a success, so you won't take a wound. Okay. The party didn't need it because they got enough collective successes to achieve the goal, but you avoided a wound. Okay. So, so we see Arthur. You enter in through the door, and Alice goes, "Oh no, this is terrible. Oh gosh, we kind of saw this coming if we used the weapon, but hopefully they followed the battle plan and locked down the doors on the second level, and most of them got back up to the second level and got to safety. And then while she's doing that, you see a terminal, console beside the doors, Arthur, and you start you connect into it, right, and start doing your thing." And you lock in and you get established to the grid and you start checking in and you're hoping that maybe all the resistance members have like RFID tags or something like that, or the equivalent thereof, so you can just pick them up as blips, right, while they're in the facility. And then maybe if there's any cameras still active, you can still see any Vicanian troops, right? And you do find a number of cameras still operational inside the facility. And so you connected them to your PDD as you guys are traveling through the first level here. And so you're helping spot the handful of Vicanians that you do run into. Clint Burrell is also doing the same thing as well. He's just using his old-fashioned eyes. His men who were feeling kind of, mainly his one only, is still feeling kind of sickly, is kind of staying in the back with him. And do your men, like, do they have weapons?
No, I think I'm the only one that really is armed at this point, and really the only one in the crew that knows how to use it.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, they're just technicians, right? And so you kind of are up there with them, and they're kind of staying in the back. And Spencer, you're using your illusions at a couple times to kind of distract the Vicanians as you're making your way through the first level. And Aston, you get a couple clean shots. Are you using your marksman rifle, or what are you using?
No, I'd be using the impact pistol in close range like this.
Makes sense. So, so you use your impact pistol at one point, and like the floor collapses out from one of the Vicanians from all the the explosions and damage to the building, and you can tell that the place is very very unstable from all the destruction. And total, you guys take out like 6 of them. There's only a few scrappings, and those that you fought appear to have already been wounded. But you guys managed to. You guys had to take a ladder shaft up to the top to the next level up because the elevator was locked out, and it was a manual override. So you guys take a ladder shaft up to the second level, and so when you get up to the second level, you find that the resistance members are up here, and they wave you in once they've ID'd who you are. And they are in scarce numbers as the door whooshes open, but they are still alive. And you see the spectacled commander that you met before, and Carlton Green looks nervously as you all enter. Alice coming up behind you all as you come in, and he just kind of like runs up to her past Aston and Clint, and he just like embraces her, although he doesn't know how to hug her because she's in the powered armor. You know, his wife's bigger than him by leaps and bounds. And but yeah, y'all see this embrace between them. But what do you guys do now that you're seeing this? You're seeing about like 30 resistance members kind of crammed into level 2 and level 3 all together. So
Carlton, if there are any doctors or anything here, she's going to need to be looked at despite what she says. And if there's anyone extra, these 3 men here, the one that just coughed and his 2 companions, they need medical aid too.
So I think unless Shane overrides it, around this point, everybody that Arthur treated starts relapsing.
it's a cool idea. Okay, so you guys see all the people that he had you had treated before all start like hacking up blood again and start coughing again. And you see all of them kind of start like holding their heads as they do it and start hacking up blood.
So not for Aston per se, But if someone were a advanced scientist that had some sort of knowledge of disease, would this
Yeah,
look like
I was
something that
thinking
they may
that
be able
too.
to identify?
Like a someone who's maybe technically advanced, like as far as
Yeah.
like a Arthur type.
No, or like like an ex-con type.
Oh,
Yeah.
hmm. If you spin a Benny, perhaps.
I could do that.
I was actually thinking that earlier. I was like, ooh, our backup science guy.
Well, because I'm thinking like with the Jekyll and Hyde thing, that if this person is in close proximity and they're relapsing, their symptoms are coming back, it would almost be like a self-preservation mechanic. Like he would just take over. Like if this was something that he could identify, um, being he was a scientist that like his entire focus was on like the healing, the giving to others more so than anything.
Yeah.
That then if he could identify it and it's something that he felt he could cure or something like that with the abilities, he would just take over and then you would just see again the slack jawed kind of expression, my face, eyes glaze over, facial expressions change, and he'd just walk over to Clint and just put his hand like on his shoulder,
Ah!
and then
Clint cries out in obvious pain as you do it.
I'm gonna spend the extra power point to also neutralize poison or disease. If that does anything.
You have that
We
power,
also
or
have
are
a-
you spending a Benny to get that power?
No, it's one of the modifiers for healing.
Oh, okay.
So I
Cool.
just gotta spend the extra power point to do that.
Okay.
I believe we also have a raise from chat still.
Yes, you do. That will bump any. You're just using this on him.
Yes, for now.
So he has just moved up to 1 fatigue. So he has only got 1 fatigue.
Didn't he only have one when Arthur healed him?
Yeah, and he went back down to 0, and then he just gained 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now some of the other people that had 1 before went up 2. So
Does this facility have... Well, I guess Arthur would ask, does this facility have a medical bay? These men need treatment of some sort.
hold on, let's continue resolving this XCon thing. So XCon walks up to.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just thinking about stuff. Okay, so XCon walks up there to them, and essentially, does he do any kind of like laying on hands when he does it, or does he just kind of?
He put his hand right on Clint's shoulder as he cried out in pain, and from that's when you would see like that sort of cackle of like electric energy that just kind of swarms him, and it would just go down his arm and into his hand and then into Clint's shoulder and chest area.
Well, you do it in his chest area, but Clint, you feel it intensely in your mind, or in your head, and okay, so you'll lose that point of fatigue since you got the success. However, Clint, Brandon, the neutralized poison disease did not work. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But I mean, for the moment, he feels good.
Yes, it feels good because
Oh.
because the condition in which creates the disease is still in there.
Yes.
If that makes any sense. Yeah.
Yep, I gotcha.
So But Exgon says, because we established that Exgon speaks English, correct? Remind me.
He does now. Yep.
Okay. Exgon looks at all of you, and since Cliff doesn't know this, do you mind if I say it?
Sure.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry,
Yeah.
my pregnant wife has just unleashed the most disgusting smell in the world, and I'm distracted.
He's ratting her out on camera. So he looks at everyone else and says, there is a device inside all of them that is giving them this condition.
And then you guys can just witness Aston and Exgon have a conversation of, well, then why don't we just shoot them in the head?
You want me to play
Yeah.
Exgon in this case?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a soldier's response.
And look around. In this moment, we're all soldiers.
He pauses for a moment as he takes back control from you. And then he says, I thought you were higher creatures than this, Aston.
You give me too much credit.
And then he doesn't come back anymore after that.
Then you can see me physically take back control and kind of pull away from Clint and walk away pissed off.
Did we just hear both sides of the conversation out loud?
Yes.
You saw
Or was
his
that-
eyes
okay.
flickering back and forth between, like, robot and... I mean, nothing changed on his eyes other than them closing and opening and closing and then opening, and then, like, robot voice coming out and human voice coming out. But
Right.
It was definitely probably weird. Wouldn't you agree, Cliff?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like watching a weird form of psychosis unfold in front of you. Me talking to myself out loud, changing my voice, responding to myself. But his physical mannerisms would change every time too. Like he would go from
Yeah.
the posture of the way that Aston carries himself kind of proudly and full to just like kind of a more relaxed, informal posture, and then back to it, and yeah, good times.
Yeah. I like Matt's. Yeah. Space extras. That's all we need.
Well, hearing that there's a device inside, Arthur is even more curious, and he's going to ask. I guess there was a commander here earlier, wasn't there?
Yes, the one in spectacles, the thin man.
Yeah, you would ask him if he's not busy. Otherwise, he'll ask Alice. Is there a medical bay we can use to treat these men?
She's right there, and she just got done embracing Carlton, and she just says, "Oh yeah, sure. It's a makeshift one, but it'll do. Sure, I'll lead you over to it." And she kind of takes you over there to it, and it's really just, man, I'm not gonna lie to you and say it's much of anything. It's just a couple of like pedestals for readouts and like a terminal and a couple of like medical beds. That's about it.
Okay.
So it's the equivalent of like a modern hospital, right, in 20th century.
Right.
So
can he scan them to find the location of the device?
sure, but that would probably be more of a science role, probably.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Or,
that's
yeah, science or repair, probably science, I guess, because it'd be
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Arthur's
I don't know
thought.
what that would be. I guess repair. I
Well,
guess. Yeah,
Arthur's thought is if he can locate the location, of the device, locate the device, then he can maybe apply some sort of focused EMP, localized EMP to that location and nullify it.
Yeah. I'm looking to see what. I'm thinking that'd probably be. I'm probably thinking that'd be like just. Yeah, I'm probably thinking that'd be electronics. Because, like, you'd just be using the proper equipment, right? Knowing how to use the proper equipment. So, electronics. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, doesn't
Okay, sweet.
doesn't Spencer have like a power where you can just attack someone's mind? Can't you just mentally destroy the device in his mind?
Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't target
And a
devices.
mind with it.
Yeah. He could probably blast your mind to death, but
Yeah,
he's not targeting the
unless
device.
we try it.
Yeah. I mean, he could kill your brain, give you a stroke maybe, but
If the device is somewhat organic,
it will take you time to do it, Arthur.
I'm not sure that I'm ready to roleplay a vegetable. It's
real easy.
Much easier.
The question is do Clint and his compatriots go through this? Willingly let Arthur go through this? And do you describe what you're going to do to them?
Well, yeah, he'll describe it. It's not going to hurt you organically. I mean,
an EMP
got
blast,
some sort of
focused EMP blast to the brain.
Well,
which
I
is
mean,
pretty much an electrical blast of major proportion, electrical device of major proportions. No, it's not going to hurt.
Do
you
they
at all.
have medical, like surgical equipment?
I think you expect way too much of this resistance cell.
Well, okay, because I'm thinking
You're a MacGyver, man.
Right. So if I can make a teeny tiny, basically like a drill, but it's an EMP, just right at the device.
Sure. Make a repair
Burn
roll.
it out like cancer.
If you're gonna modify equipment to do this, make a repair roll.
I mean, before this gets started, Clint's like, I don't remember a device being put in my head. Maybe we should make sure it's there first.
You're confident you can make something, and we'll say you make it if you can get Clint on board to do it.
Okay.
So.
But okay, so he used the electronics to. We know for certain Clint has a device in his head, or have we done that yet, or not?
You've scanned him. If he agrees to go over the table, we kind of skipped the whole. He agrees to go over the table and get scanned with you part. We're kind of backtracking a little bit to give him a chance to. It's called consent. It's this concept in real life, you know.
This is more just okay. So we scanned Clint, correct?
Yes, Clint would like to know what the device is.
Yes. Okay.
Like he's glad that he feels better from Aston or XCon. And he would like to know what the device is, but he'd also like to know what it is before people do intrusive things to his head. Just on the hope that that's where it's at.
Well, I want you to let you know, I'm pretty sure I can disable the device without injuring you. But again, we don't know what this is or where it came from. You really don't remember anything that you didn't black out or something last scavenging run?
No, I'm sure nothing happened. We went out to multiple different spots, and we all started coming down the sickness around the same time.
Was that this system or a different system?
This system. But this is our first time making Planetful in a while.
This is interesting. This didn't work like our last brain invader problem.
Well, what is the device? What is making me and all my men sick?
That is a good question.
So you've scanned him and you've localized. So you've scanned him and you've identified a device about quarter-sized, maybe a little smaller, that is implanted into his kind of cerebral stem near his spine and where his brain connects. And but it's laced into the kind of between the two. And you're fairly convinced it's been there a very, very long time. Like a
Who did
very
you
long
say-
time. And
Who did you say you worked for before?
We sorry, one moment. We worked as shipbreakers on Tavra Station off of an S3. And it took a while before we could escape. We're not necessarily there willingly.
Right. Would they have perhaps implanted something while you were there?
I wouldn't put it past them, but it's nothing that I know of.
Hmm.
It's been a few years that we've been working there in the yards, but
Spencer, you have your cyber deck. Is it functional, or is Devin still loaded on it?
Devin is still loaded on it. He is currently taking up 94% of the data storage on it. No, I'm sorry, RAM storage, RAM usage on it.
Would you be able to use your cyber deck to hack this device? Maybe see what it does?
Somebody else down here has to have a cyber deck. I'm like, I've been through way too much shit to make sure Devin makes it out of here. There's got to be another cyber deck or something now.
Hmm.
You see the way he started talking after he started getting that peach fuzz on his lip?
Well, I seem to recall Aston wanting to get a cyber deck.
So
Did he?
I had one, and then I gave it to Arthur after I stomped on his. So Arthur has mine.
Did you forget you have a cyber? No, that was a PDD, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a PDD. Well,
Yeah.
what's the better of the two?
PDD is like a tablet, basically, or a big phone, like a Palm Pilot.
Which
Cyber
is
deck
the-
is for,
Cliff,
like,
you're old
hacking.
enough to remember Palm Pilots.
Yes.
Yes.
I just can't remember which one was the better of the two, though.
Well, cyber decks are basically like laptops. They're like used for hacking things, basically.
Because the one that I got was
Yeah.
the better of the two. I thought it was a cyber deck.
You got it off of a killed Dracotech soldier, and then you said, "Oh, I'll just give this to Arthur since I broke his." And you picked up off a dead soldier.
Well, no, I had one because the scientist back on research station 12.
Yeah, one of you guys have. I think I swore one of you guys has a cyber deck besides Spencer.
I gave
Yeah.
mine. I know I gave mine to Arthur for sure because he went to make. He
Oh.
was looking up shit
Yeah, you
during
have
that
one,
resistance,
Arthur.
and I stomped on
I
his
do.
shit. Yeah.
I-
So
Sorry, I forgot. I thought I just had a PDD.
yeah, that's mine because I broke yours.
I do remember you breaking it. That's true. Well, Spencer, I have a cyber deck. Would this work? I haven't really done anything with it.
It should. What exactly do you want us to do here? Because I've never hacked into somebody's brain.
Well, not his brain specifically, but there's something, a device interfacing with his brain. I was just wondering if you can find any sort of information on it. Maybe even a back door, so we can just turn it off.
Okay.
Just stay out of the folder called tax returns.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming it may be giving off a signal.
The thing? No.
Signal. Plug it.
You'd have to.
Negative.
I don't suppose Clint would allow us to install a port. It'd just be temporary.
Actually, hold on. Let me think about it for a second. Yes, it has to be given off signal. Yes, for some of its functions.
Okay.
Yes.
So
There is going to be, so if you're hacking it, make a hacking roll at, because this is a major advanced technology, making a hacking roll at a -4 penalty.
-4.
Can I help him at all with electronics?
Nope. You don't have a device to hack from.
Okay.
Oh, you don't have. Yeah, electronics wouldn't help.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can help here. I could
With-
fuck it up
with
and make it
what?
worse, but we're gonna see.
With what?
Boost lower trait.
Sure.
Clint's gonna help by not moving too much.
I
Don't
think
fuck
I
up my
helped a little
brain.
bit.
Don't fuck up my brain.
So
Nice.
what does a raise on that give him?
It gives him a +2, and that's it. So it gives him a +2, and I can actually do.
Wait, +2 to bonus or 2 die increase?
I'm sorry, 2 die increase. Trait +2D. I actually just dropped the effect rate on Spencer.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Just roll it.
I mean, it should work, but I don't know. You might have to change trait to hacking, like the word trait in
Yeah, let me
your
change that.
combat
Hold on.
checker. Okay.
Let me check that. I'm curious. Actually, let me try it with just the way it is now. Curious. Roll that. But make sure you apply the -4 to the roll. Your normal hacking is D6. Okay. Yep, affected. Yep, did it.
Nice.
Hmm.
How the fuck did you roll
So
so
many.
low with that?
When you roll a 5, do you want to spend a Benny? Oh, I'm supposed to give Cliff used a Benny. I forgot to mark it off.
Let me see here. I've got an adventure card that says I can play to add 1d6 to each trait roll. I'd have to roll
A 3.
a 3. So what, 50-50?
Go ahead and use it, man. You'll get 2 extra cards this game, and the game's almost over. All right.
Man, spend
Sweet.
that Benny.
So that makes it a -2. I'll roll at a -2.
Okay.
And then, yeah, spend a Benny. So. Now make the roll at a -2.
And the trait boost should still be on there, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, wait. Yeah, it is. Still on there. You made it.
Nice.
Okay, so what are you trying to do with hacking?
So
So
I'm
you've
just
tapped into the device.
Okay. So just kind of going off of what Clint is telling me. Not Clint, excuse me, Arthur is telling me. So I'm like, okay, I've established a link. Do you want me to just turn it off? Do you want me to look for something specifically? Like, what is this doing to him?
Yeah, don't turn it off just in case it's tied into his critical systems. But if you can figure out what it's doing there, why it's there, that'd be great.
I'm going to.
What is it doing there?
Don't like blue screen of death my brain.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it is tied to the critical functions of his cerebral stem and his mind. Being linked to those things, it'll have. I mean, you're pretty confident based on its location that that just switching it off. Mainly pointing this towards Arthur, not Shaun, because he just made a hacking
I'm
roll.
just doing what
You're pretty confident
Arthur
that just
tells
switching
me.
it off would be bad, or else they wouldn't have put it in such a vital place, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, but Spencer, yeah. So what does it do? What does it do, and why is it there? Okay, so its core function first, it's a nanite-based technology. Based on its information on it, you believe at one point it was injected in there, and it came into its current form over a short period of time. Okay? It's very advanced technology. Very advanced. Very expensive technology. It's essentially used for servant labor. Essentially indentured servitude for long periods of time. And essentially it's used to basically keep tabs on people and keep people sick if they go AWOL before their servitude is fulfilled. There's also other things in place to kind of interact with other services to kind of help control the person via subsystems. But right now it seems to be injecting certain micro injections into their system, but mostly it's just a chemical interaction with the brain and the makeup of the body, convincing the body that it's sick.
Okay. So basically, it makes you sick, so you have to run back to your owner to get better.
I mean, that's its current thing that it's doing, but it also, if connected to certain networks, it can also send signals notifying certain people that of your current location.
Like if it's connected to a cyber deck?
If that cyber deck is connected to certain networks. Right.
So,
So Spencer, just turn that feature off.
yes.
Turn that off. Then, I'm talking out loud here to the group while I'm typing on the computer and relaying all this information. So, is there a way what do you think about maybe we can just shut off that feature that's making him sick? Is that possible? Is there a drop-down menu where we can just uncheck the box?
Hack the registry.
You're not confident that it will stay off for very long. Given the nanite-based technology, I mean,
okay.
it probably resets itself every so often, probably based on metabolism of the body, and to prevent sort of measures like this, and it kind of resets itself back at essentially default functions, and you'll probably just buy yourself some time, essentially.
Okay. I'm sure reset at midnight or something. So maybe, just turn off that feature or something until it starts.
Force updates like Windows 10.
Yeah.
It should be free.
It'll basically buy you some time.
Okay.
Spencer,
Well,
load Devin onto it.
No.
Well, if we know or if we can figure out what signals it's looking for, maybe we can spoof these signals and perhaps implant a tiny device that just keeps feeding it the signals so it thinks everything's good and it doesn't need to do anything.
You lost me at spoof.
We make it think it's everything's hunky dory.
I mean, if you can do it, do it.
I mean, here's the thing, guys. Most of the time, you guys run without being on networks, anyways. So you guys don't really ever connect to networks whenever you go into towns, whenever you go into cities, that kind of stuff. You run on your own ship's network. You guys don't connect to major planetary system networks unless you choose to. Like the one time Shaun did connect to a planetary system network to make a phone call, I'll let you guys know. You know, I mean, you don't connect to those things unless I ask you if you're doing it. So, just thing to think about, you know. So.
Well, I mean, I figured we're like underground, aren't we? Probably an air gap.
Well, you're above surface. But like I said, though, Arthur still hasn't done his actual role to try to defeat it. So, Arthur may still come up with a solution to temporarily stop it. So,
We still have Plan A.
Yeah.
Aston suggested it.
Well, Spencer, do you still have that helmet I made for you at that last space station, the alien space station?
Yes.
We could try putting that on Clint's head and see if that clears things up. 'Cause that's essentially a Faraday cage. It'll block everything, and
we
hopefully
just have
that
to make
won't.
one for all of his men.
Well, we might be able to figure something out.
Can't you just short circuit it and then reboot it to run on safety mode or something, where it's just running the bare essentials to keep him alive? Isn't that a thing that people do with electronics?
Well, it seems it just kind of resets itself, rebuilds itself back to factory specs every so often.
And you got all that just from reading the cyber deck, right?
Yes, apparently so.
So-
Yes.
So, is there a way you could continually run diagnostics on this and you could see that exact moment when it does it? So you can replicate some sort of process or bypass that?
Potentially, I don't know. My concern is actually injuring Clint, because it does seem to be tied into his systems, and it may do more beyond just connecting and sending a signal and making him feel sick. It may explode. I have no idea. Sorry,
Right.
Clint. No.
Well, remember the
pressure
Savage
there.
Worlds rules. I mean, something like that, like a bad circumstance or something like that, doesn't happen unless you get a critical failure. So,
And
I mean, we have to adhere to the rules of the game. So,
your concern is similar to my concern in the fact of I don't really care in that matter, but if he's going to be piloting...
Except he gets to blow it off and not you.
If we're being completely honest, it's a means to an end. So,
A little bit hesitant to go like around with the programming and trying to get this thing to.
Is this at all similar to...
don't forget you've made your repair roll to build a device to do a You've made a repair roll to make a concentrated EMP.
Right.
So, I mean-
Okay. So, I mean, I don't want to metagame, because in this
Yeah.
situation, Arthur would be concerned.
Yeah.
This unknown device. I mean, it could explode. It could just outright kill him if he leaves the system. That
Yeah.
sort of thing.
No, he's already left the system. He just arrived in the system. So, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, this device was planted in his head before he ever got in the system. So, I mean,
So if we were able to tell that if we just disable it, he'd be fine, then, I mean, is that what you're saying? With the EMP device.
I'm just saying you made your roll to make one, and you got a raise. Which,
So-
by definition of the rules, it's not going to explode unless you get a critical failure. Does that make sense? I follow the rules when I'm running a game.
So meta, he's telling you you're not going to kill him by using it.
I'm trying to help
Right,
you
okay.
I'm trying to help us move the game along
Okay.
by telling you how the game works.
Okay. My
Sometimes
apologies.
you
Okay.
got to step out of the game and be meta to move the game along. Does that make sense?
Right. Got it.
So
Okay. Well, Clint, I believe we can take care of it with this focused EMP device that I've created. You should be fine. And I think we can help the rest of your crew as well.
Can we just put all three
So-
over their heads together and just do one EMP blast on all of them?
In a line.
I'm okay trying it, particularly to help my men. But before we do, it seems to me like it has programming and it's advanced tech from what you're talking about. Is there a chance that it's going to be shielded against such things? I mean, spaceships are to a very real extent. Critical components. Is this something that's going to have shielding to protect it from, EMPs or radiation or whatever might disable it
That's a
or
risk we're
corrupt
willing
its
to take.
programming?
yeah, you're not convinced that it's going to be. You're not convinced that there's going to be any kind of shielding from it. I mean, you think this EMP is really just going to just going to essentially render the device inert for a period of time, at least a time until you can come up with a more permanent solution, or that kind of thing. But you're not expecting any kind of shielding or anything like that, given the device you've created. I mean, you've created a very effective solution, Arthur.
Okay. He says that to Clint.
Okay.
No
If
shielding.
you think it'll work and it can help me and my crew, let's hope it doesn't blow up.
All right, I'm going to leave the room because I don't want to be subjected to it.
Okay.
I
Okay,
take
so
all the
make an
electronics out of the
electronics
room.
roll to operate the device and go off. Don't worry, you won't die, even if it gets a critical failure. All right.
I'm taking all my electronics out.
I'm pennying that. Oh
Good
my
job.
goodness.
What about that?
Okay, I'm. Yep.
That's funny. He burned all his bennies on that. That is funny. That is funny. Okay, so Arthur used all his bennies helping a potential comrade. Okay, so you've used your EMP device now to help all of your help all of Clint's allies, and you've nullified these electronic devices in their minds, and you've rendered their devices inert, at least for the time being, so they won't be getting sick anymore.
Okay, we should be good for a while. We'll see how long. We may need to do it again or find a more permanent solution.
Oh, thank you. So how do we get this device to my ship for the rest of the men?
Well, I can probably make one. Maybe they'll let us borrow some equipment here. Because you said you don't have a medical bay there. This doesn't really require medical equipment, does it? Just set it up. They lay in a chair, shoots it through the head. I'm kind of asking
you
GM.
have a science lab in the ship. Your ship. You're confident that you can replicate this device pretty easily in your ship.
Okay,
Yeah, without stealing their supplies. Here.
got it.
So.
All
Cool.
right, so he's able to temporarily cure both Clint and his
Yep.
two minions without killing anybody.
Yep. Okay, so
Excellent.
Alice comes over and says to I guess Spencer, since the rest of you are all well, no, he was actually on the computer hacking. So he comes over to Aston, says he's one just kind of standing around, and says, "So what's next? What's next for all of you? Now that you have your pilot, and I guess I'm going to. I guess me and Carlton, I've had a long talk with him for a little bit, and we've decided to kind of leave the resistance thing behind. We're going to try to leave the planet, I guess.
Good. As for us, I don't know. I don't even know if there is an us.
What do you mean?
Well, Levi was the captain. He was the one that kind of held things together. So I don't have any ties with Astra Unum. I don't know what's next. I don't know who his contacts are through there even, other than going directly through Anthony Wright, which I think that probably skips a few chains of command. So I don't know what's next. Next for me is getting off this fucking planet. And then making a few phone calls. Hey, sidebar question, Alice. What's the going rate for hiring a hit on somebody?
She kind of, our eyes go wide. Says, I haven't made you that angry, have I? For any reason?
No, it's not you.
She kind of smiles. Well, smirks more. She says, expensive, depending on how good you want the person to be. Why?
Oh. Loose ends and all that.
Well, I might know some people that can help you out, but if you know any criminal friends, they're probably better as far as to help you find people. You got any connections in the criminal underworld?
Oh, I know a few people.
Well, that's where I would start. But as far as how expensive they are, probably start around 5,000 credits. That's at like Aston. That's like a wealth roll -3. But she says higher than that, 10,000, 20,000 credits for a mid-level hitman.
Oh, I don't think we're going to need anything too advanced. I'm pretty sure the target's pretty easy.
Okay. Well, good luck on that. Although I'll say, though, that revenge is not a path I'd go down, though, friend.
Revenge is the path that I live off of.
She kind of hits you on the shoulder and says, all right, well, I'm right here at the medical bay. I'm going to give you your armor back. She kind of like hits a button and the suit opens up and she just almost falls out of the suit. Catches herself.
Catch her, yeah.
And she says, thanks. And she kind of hobbles over to one of the beds. So now you see a piece of powered armor there without a helmet standing there beside you. Chest opened up. Sorry, the back opened up.
Spencer?
All right, so you're finished with hacking. You're finished helping his friends. And Clint, what's next for you guys?
Well, y'all want to get off this planet, or you're helping these guys here, or tell me where am I taking you?
We still have to fix our ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, would you guys, Clint, would your crew be willing to help us fix our ship? I don't think it'll take too long.
If you can get them up and walking, I'm sure they would be very grateful, and I'd have no issue stripping whatever they need off of our ship and helping out.
Well,
if you are able to solve the problem permanently and are even willing to drop them off somewhere that's not this shithole, so that way they have a chance at some type of life, that would be even better. But they are engineers and technicians, and if anybody can help you get it up and going, it'll be these guys.
that sounds fine to me. What do you think, Aston.
Well, I think that if nothing else, that Wright Industries, especially with what they have going on Research Station 12, might be able to help with this problem.
True.
So you could see if your sister can do anything about it. But I think first and foremost, we should get his crew up and running so we can get out of here. I don't even know if it's safe for us to leave here. Has anybody talked to the commanding officer since we've been here?
Not
I'm
I.
gonna go talk to him, I guess.
All right, so you head up to the third level, and you hit the elevator, and slowly it crawls up to the third floor, and the spectacled commanding officer with a thin frame kind of turns around and looks at you and says, Mr. Courtney, I want to say thank you again for your help today. The distraction you and your allies assisted us with was most helpful in us getting that fusion torpedo off the ground. It cost many lives today, but we're confident to find many of the resistance members still out amongst the town, still surviving as we are able to clear out the rest of Icanian forces. Thank you so much. However, Singh, where's Mr. Roosevelt?
Yeah, about that. You weren't the only one that lost men.
It's terrible news. He was a fine man.
Agreed.
Uh,
So, your strike was a success.
It was. It was. Right now, the news waves are reporting that based on how many warheads were fired, they're reporting it as a engine malfunction on the vessel. So,
Of course, they wouldn't report it as an attack.
well,
Gotta keep morale high.
Well, it also wouldn't have read as an attack, probably, because based on the amount of warheads we fired, it would have looked like a multi-stage engine failure. So, as the fusion drives would have it would have looked like a catastrophic multi-stage fusion drive failure. So, as each fusion torpedo cluster struck the engine simultaneously. So,
Well, good thinking on your part with that, then. Do you have any idea how Dracotech was alerted for us being here?
no, but we might find out actually soon because we just parked the Dracotech vessel that you actually were able to commandeer with the resistance members around the back. So, since
When
our
you
position
find
was
out,
given
please
away
let me
anyways,
know.
so
Once you find out, please let me know.
of course we'll send a communication. Just leave me your common code behind, and we'll send it wherever you are in the galaxy.
And is there any other cleanup you need here?
No, not at all. However, we don't have a pilot or anything. I'm to understand that my men overheard that you were in need of a pilot. We unfortunately cannot help with that. We've been going through our numbers of casualties, and it appears that we're on low supply of pilots ourselves. So,
I wouldn't have even thought to burden you with that one. I think that we may have that situation under control. But if you have any spare hands that know how to fix a ship, we need to get ours up and moving. If not, no worries.
sure, we could spare a couple of technicians, I'm sure. So, tell you what, we'll load everyone up on the Dracotech vessel out back. You can all take a flight over there, and the Vicanian forces don't possess any anti-air technology. So, but unfortunately, it might draw fire though flying it again. So, if you want to take that route, However, you could also just march to the city. Your choice.
I think being low key right now might be a better option.
I agree. Good call. So, but regardless, we will send technicians with you and your team.
Thank you. Yeah, reach out, shake his hand.
He
And
grasps it
please,
firmly.
if you find out how they knew we were here, let me know.
Of course.
I was gonna play an adventure card. You get what, 2?
Mm-hmm.
You can each play 2.
So I have this one called Folk Hero. So it's play after you save a group of people from dire circumstances. The community adopts you and your party as local heroes, and you can always find aid there.
Nice.
It's pretty good.
Okay, so like in this case, you guys would be the folk heroes for Felici, and I know. Is that what it's supposed to be for?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very cool. I love it. I love it. Okay,
bad.
sweet.
Too bad we couldn't be folk heroes on a nice planet.
When they're ever coming back to.
Well, it is a settlement with a massive weapon.
True.
So
Also, would it be folk hero like amongst the resistance?
probably. That's probably true. Because it could be anywhere the resistance with.
Yeah.
So
that's probably even better.
yeah. Once again, everyone, I apologize for the dropping frames. We're still doing it, but not as bad as we were earlier. So thank goodness. So my God, the amount of drop frames.
I had stream audio on for about 5 minutes, and you couldn't tell it was dropping.
That's good. That's good. Okay. Okay, sweet. All right, sweet. Then you guys will be remembered as heroes among the people. And okay, so we will. Okay, so why don't we just transition then to you guys getting the ship? It won't be as. It's not interesting to go from here, right, to the ship. So you guys arrive to the landing pads. As you guys recall, actually, I'll say, as Shaun and Matt and Cliff recall, Brandon was not here for this, but as you guys recall, there was only one set of landing pads, 3 ships, a Dracotech ship, another ship in the middle, and your ship. We now know who that other ship in the middle belonged to. But the Dracotech ship was commandeered by the Resistance. You guys fought a bunch of the Dracotech. You guys are arriving now, and you're now only seeing one ship on the paths. One ship, the landing gear busted, laying half on its side. And that's it. What is your response to this, Cliff? Sorry, Clint.
No. He starts running towards the landing pad. To see if you can see signs of damage, if maybe you can see if the ship had to do like a short liftoff or something and crashed.
You see bodies on the ground. You see bodies of former allies of yours. A technician named Jessup, and it's another salvage worker whose specialty was welding, named Calvin. Both of them dead, killed by. One of them killed by a 55 caliber blast marksman rifle. The other one killed by a thermal pistol. His face half melted off. And you see one Dracotech soldier's body on the ground. And then you see that your ship is gone.
What wounds does the Dracotech guy have?
It looks like someone took a welding torch right to his neck.
Ooh.
Clint looks at the rest of the party. It seems my ship's been taken. I cannot provide you the parts that I said I could. But you find me that Dracotech ship, I'll find some parts on there.
Arthur, you don't think we have what we need on the ship?
I'll check. I need to look more closely at the actual damage. I think we have most of what we need, but I don't know about the landing gear and the engine.
They're going to be sending over some people to assist, so they might be able to help you out with trying to identify.
Oh, they're with you.
What do we need?
They're with you in tow.
Take them with you and see if you can assess the damage.
Okay.
Can I
Arthur.
leave my men in your hold until we get to space and can dispose of them properly?
The medical bay.
Yeah, fine with me.
Have something that passes for a medical bay.
That works. And Clint starts, kind of does a little pickup, and fireman carry one of the and his men, and looks around for kind of directions.
Arthur's going inside anyway. He'll direct you.
Okay.
Aston's gonna grab the other guy.
Okay. So you guys enter the ship, and you said you're putting the guys in the medical bay. Cool. All right. So you guys place.
Is there anything in there we can strap them down?
Strap them down? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's straps.
Cool.
I mean, it wouldn't be a
I'm gonna
very good
strap them
medical
down.
bay if it wasn't designed to. Although you guys only have one medical table. Actually, yeah. Actually, you guys only have one medical table. Yeah.
So we just have to Lincoln logs.
Stack them on top of each other.
I mean,
we
you guys
do have.
can, unfortunately, use tarps to make essentially make body bags if you want to do that. Respectable.
We also have a shuttle bay too.
Yeah.
That looks
true.
like it has lots of space.
I just have trauma from creatures with metal things embedded in their head coming back to life, so I figure
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I've given you guys some trauma in the past with dead bodies and stuff. I'm giving you lots of traumas.
Just precautions, You've made me a stronger person because of it, and now I know that I can't even trust the dead.
In a sci-fi game, what have I done that you guys thought was so tame when I started? Not to mention the time I put cyber wolves on a spaceship while I was in space.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about that either. There's a sign when you first walk in the ship that says we don't talk about that.
Clint, this may be too soon. I don't know when wouldn't be too soon. And I apologize for being... the term is escaping me. Would it be all right if I took a sample of or extracted the device that's in one of your crew's brains? It may help in coming up with a permanent solution for yours.
I mean, sure, they're dead. They don't care.
Okay, I didn't want to offend your sensibilities or anything like that.
Nope. The only one that has offended me is whoever got my men killed. And judging from the welding torch across the neck and face, I have a pretty good idea who.
Okay.
Aston gains a monochrome of respect.
Okay. All right, so we're not gonna do a combat thing or anything. I'm just putting them on the ship just to keep track of what you guys are doing on the ship. Just so I don't keep asking you over and over again. So if you guys want to move to where you are on the ship, just to help me keep track of things, you can. Oh, I did that with comment tracker. So y'all are putting the body somewhere, and at the moment, and Arthur, you're essentially assessing the damage, right? You've already kind of assessed the damage, right? You know that it's mainly electronic repairs. You know that the ship will be flyable once you do all the electronics repairs. Most of the engine repairs were mostly cosmetic, and the landing gear is essentially, I mean, you can fly a ship without landing gear, right? It's just a matter of where you can land it, right? It's where you can dock that becomes the issue. Right? You can go places with docking clamps. You can go places where your ship docks physically to another ship or station directly. But it's places where you have to use your landing gear to land onto, like planets, for example, or to land docking platforms where you've got to land directly onto it and let your landing gear do the work. Those are the places you got to be concerned about. So, but yes, the electronic repairs are the really brunt of the labor that you're going to have to do. So, you're confident that you have enough backup supplies to do it. Electronic repairs are really just a lot of labor. So,
Okay.
So the other repairs, I mean, yeah, it's going to be some fabrication involved and some actual replacement work, but they're not the big priority right now, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
Okay? Because the ship can't even be flown with any sort of assistance from the computer until the electronic systems are repaired. I mean, you literally don't have cameras right now.
Well, I guess Arthur will be directing and then also doing some of the repairs himself.
Okay. All right, cool. Sweet. Okay, so then we will say that these technicians will make a group roll to assist you
Okay.
in making repairs. These are not pirates. I just have pirates available. Actually, I'll just rename them from pirates for the time being, just to make it easier, not confusing to you. Pirates naval crew. There we go. Just so it's not confusing. And so they will make group rolls with a group roll repair, to see if they're able to give you support rolls to help you. Wow. Okay, so they give you a +2 on your repair roll on the ship.
What's the time skip that it took from the time we left that building to get back here?
You won't know if you got any PowerPoints.
Correct.
Just ask me if you do get your PowerPoints back.
That's way too
Because you and
meta.
Shaun keep
No
doing
fun.
that. How much time did it take? Yeah, so it probably took about like 2 hours to fall back.
Okay.
So
Cool. Thank you. So I'm gonna try to assist by boosting his trait while he's doing it, because I can't make
Sweet.
repair rolls myself. Let's try again. Not gonna try again. I can't help him. Sorry.
okay, but that means that you get a +2 bonus on your roll. The ship is essentially suffering fatigue.
Is there because I do have a small electronic skill. If Clint volunteers to handle some of the more basic,
It would be
electronics,
repair to repair something.
Repair?
Electronics is
Okay,
for using
that too.
electronic devices. Repair is used for
Okay.
repairing stuff. So, but do you
Repair's
have
even
repair skill?
better. Yes.
Yeah. So you can assist him with repair. So if you want
Okay.
to, make a repair roll. Okay, so that is so a whopping +3 to this roll. Okay, so I'm sorry, ships don't get fatigue, they get wounds. Essentially it's like an EMP wound, right? So -2 to the roll. So you got a +1 total.
All right.
Yeah, so Brandon, anytime that someone is rolling a skill, if you have that skill, you can support it.
Okay.
You can't use unskilled to support though. But you
Okay.
can do any skill you want yourself unskilled. You just take that -2 penalty on a D4.
Okay.
So repairing the ship's going to take you 4 hours to make the electronics repairs. That's replacing breakers, doing some repair work in various places with electronics, like electrical lines in places, various places, rebooting
counting
the
his
OS. I'm sorry?
Is that counting his edge? Doesn't he get, like, if he gets a success
Oh,
with a
thank
raise?
you for reminding me. 2 hours. 2 hours.
Aston just wants off this planet, that's all.
Thank you. 2 hours. And, however, you unfortunately notice one thing, however, when you boot everything back up. The operating system isn't working quite as it used to. Isn't working as streamlined as it once did before. It's got glitches that it didn't have before. It still works.
Spencer.
And this is not fixable. This is not fixable.
Oh,
This is your ship getting. This is your ship getting, essentially, like it's getting a personality. You know, like in space. You know, like Millennium Falcon did, and like
Ow.
wear and tear over time. Wear and tear. You know how the space shows and space games are. It's essentially getting. It's been through its ups and downs. So it'll now get a +1. It'll give you a +1 bonus to notice and electronics rather than the +2.
Oh.
So, yes, the system's not exactly as up to snuff as it used to be. So, but that'll be it. So I think it was +1 to electronics and.
Are you talking about the telemetry center?
Ah, yes, the telemetry center. Yes, yeah,
Okay,
+2
yeah.
to electronics and notice. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that was +2.
Yes.
So it's now +1.
Yes. Yeah, essentially the computer's kind of glitching and that kind of stuff. And okay,
Can you update that on the Griffin Explorer sheet
I will.
for vehicles?
I will.
Thank you. Not that I'll ever use it, but
2 hours y'all spend doing that. What about the landing gear and stuff like that? Are y'all just gonna? What's the plan?
Yeah, I mean, if we can fix the landing gear, why not?
So interjection. This is a fucking active war zone. The area that what's the game plan after we leave here? Are we going back like to the research station? Are we going to where were we at before we were here?
Okay, so you guys had before you came here, you were in the ILAR system, but I know that Spencer had one other mission while he was in the system. He wanted to find a body for Devin.
We got two bodies on the.
Did we leave the power armor with Alice?
He wanted a clone body. No, Alice got out of the armor bot. If you guys wanted to bring it with you.
Yeah, either Spencer got into it or it's still in autopilot mode.
Well, I mean, whether they're talking about this, if they're talking around Clint, he would pipe in that there's a base out in one of the asteroids that's a little on the other side of the law, so to speak. Belt Rider Shiv might be able to find something to.
I have a feeling to land on an
There.
asteroid, we're going to need landing gear. Whereas if we go to a bigger station, we quite possibly won't. My whole thought with this is
Clint
don't have
knows
to
that
spend
Belt
another-
Rider Shiv is not an asteroid base.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, relay that in that case.
does it require landing gear to land?
No, it's docking platforms. Sorry, it's docking is done via docking. What do you call it? Where they? I'm trying to remember what they're called.
Umbilical.
Umbilical. Thank you, Matt, with dropping the science words.
So my suggestion would be, let's not spend a couple more hours here trying to do this and risk Dracotech or Vicanian forces deciding to rear their heads again, and let's worry about repairs there. Do you have any contacts there that might be able to assist, or I don't even know if we need any assistance, but
Shane, I'm relying on you on that one. I don't. I'm assuming either my men maybe
In your
knew somebody there. Or
background, you were going there to find someone to fix your problem with your.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we had somebody in mind yet,
Let's
or how
see.
we would have found out about it.
Hold on, let me look at the store notes. Hold on. To move things along, I might say that you already do. Hold on. Yeah, you did have a name. It's not someone that can help you, but not someone you don't know if they can help you, but you know it's someone that's in the know as far as like this kind of thing, like criminal dealings. Yeah, it's like a fixer type person, criminal dealings. Named Eric McMillan.
All right. Yeah, I got a contact who might be able to put us.
I mean, he would probably be the kind of person that could help, like, find Devin a clone body as well. I mean, because, like, clone bodies in the system are probably going to come from black market anyways, right?
Oh, that's my vote.
I agree with your reasoning. Sounds good.
And then, could I get his name again one more time?
Eric McMillan. I'll type it in chat.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
All right, Clint. Welcome to the Griffin Explorer.
If my two remaining guys want to tag along, do you have any issues with that? Or unless they wanted to stay and help the resistance, it's their choice. But
they're tagging along for right now. We'll see how long they stay alive.
okay.
I mean, when y'all meet up with Astra Unum, they might, join up with Astra Unum, find work there, because they're not like the rest of the quote unquote heroes. They won't want to, die and fight on a crew probably, of a ship. So,
do they have credits for rations?
Y'all don't have much of anything, I don't think, do you?
No, not really. It was effectively kind of whatever we scavenged once we made planet.
All right, and how far away
most
is
of that's
this?
gone because the ship's gone.
How far away is our destination?
Belt Rider Shiv is in this system. It is just to keep things moving. It is 1 day away.
Okay, that's fine. And we'll say that the labor they did for helping get everything repaired will cover their food for the day.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you guys arrive at Belt Rider Shiv, and you see a star base. I'll say star base. It's a space station essentially. It's called Belt Rider Shiv because it looks like a dagger blade essentially, just kind of floating along top. Just the shiv or the blade of a dagger, just floating along top the outer belts of this system, and just getting pulled along via the gravity field of the asteroid belts. And under the belly of the ship, you see umbilicals with ships of all different kinds attached to the bottom side of it. So, and you guys find your mounting place where you guys can dock to along the underside. So it's definitely an odd looking space station. And when you're figuring out, though, as you're drawing closer, it's because it wasn't originally a space station. It's just a spaceship that was such gargantuan, and it just eventually just stopped being used so long ago that they just parked it, and it essentially became a space station. And now it's just kind of known as a space station. And they've basically just converted the underside and attached all these umbilicals to it, but it's massive in size. It was probably once a flotilla ship from some sort of like Ark expedition. So, given its unusual size, that's the best explanation for it. So, but it looks like this knife floating on the top of like water, for this asteroid belt. And so you guys kind of dock in, and Clint, of course, you're the only one that can drive. So you've essentially taken up the piloting duties on the ship. And so you're getting comfortable with what looks to be a much more advanced ship than something you've ever flown before. I mean, you're driving a ship despite the new glitch it has, this ship is more advanced than anything you've ever driven before. Like, ever. It's more advanced than anything you've ever seen come through the shipyard. It's more advanced than anything you've probably ever laid eyes on, to be honest. Maybe Viganian forces when they first showed up when you were young to decimate fleets in NASA, in the Nassian system. But that's how advanced this ship is. And you've also never been on a ship that had an AI core. This ship has an AI core to assist you. It reminds me, I need to share a vehicle entry with you. You'll have access to this. Well, I said that. For some reason, it's not wanting to pass it over there. Why in the hell not? Can you see it now?
Yes, I see it.
I don't know why I didn't want to add it to your allies on your sheet, but that is the Griffin Explorer.
Okay.
What are you gonna say, Cliff?
Anton Sheldon was the person we talked to in the jail cell, right?
Yes, and on Palace, wasn't that in Palisadia?
That's what I was trying to.
That was on an ice mining station. A Dracotech ice mining station on the outer edges of the ILAR system. But yes, it was a Dracotech facility. But yes.
No, that's what I was trying to figure out. I have an entry for him, but I don't have any details for where it was at, so I just wanted to fill up my journal. I'm sorry.
No problem. Is that who you want to put the hit on?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, he was pretty forthcoming. I don't think he's the one that fucked us over. But we'll find out.
Okay.
Now, as we're moving into dock, are we able to see any other vessels that are docked?
Yeah, you see, numerous vessels. Mostly ships of about your size. I mean, there's a couple that are like light cruisers and stuff, larger than yours, but mostly about your size or smaller.
Any of them a Dracotech ship or a floating piece of junk? I've actually
make a notice roll with a +1. Actually, make it a notice roll with a -1 because there's penalties because of all the ships out there.
Okay, and what's the best way of doing that one? Is it just typing it in?
So you're gonna. There's a little box down there in the bottom left-hand corner that says modifier above it. Click the 0, and you're gonna see where it says above it adjusting when you do it, and just type -1.
Okay.
And then
Thank you.
once that's done, just roll notice. It'll automatically apply the penalty.
Nice.
You see a Dracotech vessel. You do not see your hunk of junk that you flew in here on.
Is it? Am I able to tell if it's the Dracotech ship that was there?
No, it is. It is not the Dracotech vessel that was previously parked beside yours.
Okay. Well, before we dock, I'll make sure to let everybody know that whoever did in my crew and took my ship, we appear to have some allies here, and I know they're having a dust up back on that planet. So,
If you
You're
bring
still
up
good
any
for
sort
docking?
of, if you bring up any concerns about the Dracotech ship, I would let you know that the Resistance took that ship. So it wouldn't have been that same exact one.
oh, okay.
But either way,
Maybe their
I'm
crew
good.
took mine. Okay. All right. Well, if we're good to dock, then we'll seek whatever permissions are necessary and move to attach our umbilical to them.
Sure. Who's going to pay the docking fees?
I guess I am, since how no one else is jumping up to do this.
I mean,
Anyone
I'll
else want to
help.
throw in on
So
the
Yeah,
assist?
They come in over
Yeah.
the comms and say, all right, so before you're allowed permission to dock to a umbilical 29, we're going to need to allow you to wire over the docking fees, and he gives you a certain amount. And the GM is currently looking up the fees table. I apologize, but it shouldn't
I'm
take you
gonna-
too long.
I'm gonna cut comms for a second and look at Clint and be like, are these fees negotiable, or are these something that they charge everybody the same price?
They're pretty set.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they're pretty set.
Yeah, they pretty much got people by the balls because it's like the only space station in the outer section of this system. So they pretty
Like,
much, if you want to get fuel, you're kind of fucked. So they don't really negotiate.
Okay.
So I tell Aston real quick, based on my discussion with his name Anthony,
Mm-hmm.
said money was no object when it came to getting my body from Devon. I'm sure you will call our minor.
That's good to know. We'll have to make sure we have enough for the now, though.
He doesn't want us way overpaying, but I want to see it.
Well, unless you have that black card with you, I think we're gonna have to go out of pocket for now.
I'm sure we'll get paid back.
Any of y'all guys wanna assist me on this wealth roll?
Yes,
It's a wealth roll at a
Arthur will.
minus. It's a wealth roll at a -1.
Or -1's not bad.
Yeah, it's
If
1,000.
What is it?
It's a. Wait, no. Wait, what was our starting credits campaign? It was
500.
Oh no, it's -2.
-2. And what is if you get it with a raise, you don't lose a die. If you don't get a raise, you go down a die. That how it works?
Yes.
Okay. So y'all want to help me with this roll?
Sure. I've no more bennies, so hopefully this goes well. Nope. That went
Motherfucker.
Hold
really
on.
badly.
And
Wait,
by
wait,
the
wait,
way,
wait, wait,
anybody who also rolls on it will suffer the same effects as the.
Wait, hold on
So
though.
hopefully the person who the main roller gets it. Hopefully the main roller will succeed on the roll. So that is a success. That is 2 raises. So Aston will give you a +2. So.
For what?
Oh, but you get a -1 because of the critical failure from Arthur.
Okay.
So that's a -1.
I can pitch in.
Hold on. I think Brandon's got something here.
Oh my god. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm just hitting.
Brandon was just bringing. Oh no, sorry. I saw Brandon's raise, and I thought that was a.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Still fantasy ground noob here.
Okay, so Spencer didn't help you at all.
I don't think I have any wealth to help with. So
Well,
If
use
you,
a bad amount of wealth.
Clint, did you spend your starting money? You spent all your starting
Yes.
money on gear? Then you have
Yes.
a wealth of D6.
Okay.
Every starting character gets a starting of D6, wealth of D6.
Okay. In that case, I guess
So-
I will help.
Yeah, let me add a skill on your sheet.
Does anyone
actually,
have
let me hold on.
Anyone have a card who can help?
Do you have a card that can help? Possibly. Hold on, let me add a skill. on
Well,
your
so
sheet
we
called
we never
wealth.
used our raise. So
You have 2 raises actually.
all I got to do is get a success. And with a
right.
-3 thanks to Arthur, it shouldn't be that hard.
Thought I was helping.
I will help.
Nice. Okay, so only a
Oh.
-1 now.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Arthur.
My bad.
Motherfuck.
Hey, you know what? It's all right. You got this.
He can't.
You got
Well, he
this.
can't be any a critical failure. So
But you
It's-
can't.
yep,
Even
nope.
with the common bond. Oh.
nope. Critical failures are
What?
critical failures.
What about?
Nope. No what abouts.
What about if I have a contact on this planet that'll let us park for free?
Let me read what Ulf does.
Oh. It'll teach me for helping.
Critical failure means the buyer can't scrape together the needed funds at the moment, but may try again the next week or after he obtains one or more rewards. Regular failure, the buyer can't forgo the expense or she can't buy it but goes broke regardless of the wealth roll. Wealth die. Yeah. Okay, it says critical failure means can't scrape together the needed funds at the moment, but may try again. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, so you just can't afford it with available
I played
funds
the
on
adventure
hand
card.
with a critical failure. But
I,
you spend your adventure card to say you have a friend or acquaintance on board who can help your current situation. So this is what happens. You send your comms code over and say, okay, I've got the funds here on this card right now. And they come back and say, we're having difficulties connecting to this comms code right now. There seems to be an issue with funds on this card, sir.
run it again.
It's like, we've run it again, sir. We're still having issues getting funds from this card. We're sorry to tell you you're going to be unable to dock or get refueled here, sir. And then the feed gets cut off. Please, before the feed gets cut off, it says, please return to stationary position outside of docking range for the safety of other paying docking customers. Thank you.
Oh, it's like that, huh?
A couple of seconds later, you hear on the comms, your ship, "What's up?"
Like, who is this?
Really?
I'm sorry. I've been the literal hell I've been through right now. I can't explain. I don't mean any disrespect by it, but your name, your voice isn't latching on over comms.
Oh my God. My God, has it been that long, man? I used to drive for you. I used to fly for your daddy. Come on, it's Chester.
Oh, Chester.
You still don't remember me, mother.
No,
and then he
I
hangs
was-
up.
I-
He hangs up. The feed gets cut off. You got the comm code though that he called from. Still.
Call him back. Like, of course I remember you. Like I said, I've been through. A friend of mine just passed. I was just shot at. We were in an active war zone. I'm sorry. It must be the tinnitus that I had. Your voice just wasn't clicking with me. But of course I remember you, Chester. So
Hey. So what brings you out to Valisi?
Well, we were hoping that we would be able to dock, maybe do some repairs to our ship, but all in all, we would be spending the money that I know is on that card here.
What have you? Let me guess. You've taken control of the family now, and you've ran it into the ground.
Close, but no, we're still doing decent, and Dad's still alive.
I don't think he's ever gonna die, is he?
As long as we have money, he won't.
Well, all right. Go to docking bay. Hey, what number was it, Tommy? The one that's empty, that's not full of junk. Okay, 59, 58. Sorry, 58. Docking bay 58. Just be careful when you're coming in, okay? Don't hit the crates.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it.
And he says, and yes, that's not an umbilical. But we got docking clamps, okay?
Did I mention our landing gear is shot?
Yeah, docking clamps. I already scanned your ship. I saw that.
Okay.
Like I said, I noticed your family's having hard times running around without landing gear. What the hell, man?
We'll discuss this in person.
Yeah, so with that, Clint glides towards Bay 58.
All right, so you guys land at the back of the ship, which is one of the assigned former actual docking bays on the original ship, which is assigned to a shipping company. And Chester Tran comes out to meet you all.
Tran.
And he's out there with his cyber mechanical legs on the edge of the docking bay. And the clamps come up to help you guys out and lock the ship into place. And you guys can disembark now.
Get out. But like, Chester, you look the exact same as you did last time I seen you.
Out of character. We're gonna go roll with it and say he did have his legs. He didn't have his legs when he made. I was going to go say.
Perfect.
I was about to make a joke like he didn't have.
No,
Hell,
he could not
Lieutenant
have
Dan.
those legs. I'm fine with that too.
He said, yeah, I still ain't been able to replace these things. I wanted to get prettier, shiny ones, but I don't think it would be the same, to be honest. I've gotten used to these things, you know. I don't know what I could do if I could run and jump and play and all that bullshit. And then they'd expect me to work harder, so.
That's quite the blight, yes.
Yeah.
But you probably wouldn't be able to kick ass nearly as much with new shiny ones.
Yeah, they hurt a little more when I kick somebody with them. He says, but look, all y'all can come on down. We'll refuel you up and all that stuff. I'll take care of it all. But look, go ahead and take care of your business, and we'll catch up sometime while you're here. And but yeah, this is my new home, the Belt Rider. You're welcome anytime you want.
Well, I appreciate that. I might have some questions about the going-ons here.
Of course.
And then usher everybody off. Can you point us to a place where we might be able to stay a night or so?
He says, unfortunately, there's not many places to stay. There's one little hotel Well, it's not really much of a hotel, to be honest, but it's just a kind of a little dive place. Here, I'll point you in that direction. It's just called it's called the 304. You can stay over there. It's just called that, well, because of, its location. Level 3, room
Understood. Thank you.
04. So they're very creative over there.
As long as the sheets are clean. Ish.
So if Arthur did spend that day doing like an autopsy, sure, you can make a roll on that.
Okay. What do you want me to roll?
I'm trying to think about what an autopsy would
Science.
be. Huh?
Science?
I mean, science is more for like obtaining knowledge based on something. The actual autopsy itself, I don't know if I need a roll for an actual autopsy though. I don't know if you know what I mean? Science would be though, I guess, to determine data once you got it open though. I agree. Yeah, make a science roll.
Okay.
Wow, look at you. Okay. Yes, I mean, what are you wanting to determine with it? Like, what is the goal here? Learn about it. Like, what do you want? Are you wanting to learn like how to stop it, how to nullify it more permanently?
Yeah, I mean that's the end goal. Of course, if he can learn how to replicate it, that'd be great too. But that's probably more in depth. At this point, his end goal is to, yes, nullify the device without injuring Clint permanently or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just temporary.
Okay. Okay. Let me get back to you on that one. Okay. So you guys have been pointed towards a room or rooms at the 304, and so you guys start heading that way, and or some of you are heading that way. How many of you guys are leaving the ship and heading towards a possible place to stay?
Well, Clint was gonna see what Arthur had, and then after that, he's willing to head out with the rest of the group.
Well, I don't know if Arthur would finish the autopsy and be able to successfully get the science roll and come up with a solution for you all in a day. Does that make sense?
No,
Like
yeah.
the autopsy would take time, and then he'd have to do some ascertaining from information. Does that make sense? So I don't know if he would have an answer for you yet.
Okay.
So
That's fine. If he doesn't, we'll just head off.
So as I'm thinking, so is Arthur.
What are we doing with the bodies? We probably can't keep them for very long. It has been a day already.
Well, I mean, Clint has no, like, he's fine just spacing them or turning them into Soylent Green or whatever the norm is.
What do you think, Aston, Spencer? Just toss them out the airlock?
We don't have the money to stay here, so there's nothing fancy we can do. Just toss them out the airlock. Probably when we get further away from here, though.
Right, not here. Okay, just wondering.
I mean, I can ask Chester if he knows a place to dispose a body. I just don't know if that's the type of impression we want to start off with.
Well, if you got an airlock, right, you can put them in there, secure them, depressurize it, and just let them freeze.
True.
And that way, if needed, Arthur can recover any bits he needs from the second body. Unless he took the little nanite chip cord thing or whatever it is out of both.
I mean, he might as well, just in case.
Study it.
And two, I guess you learn how it works. Maybe you can thaw them out and make meat puppets.
We've seen that already. We don't need more of that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so so some of you are going to a hotel or motel named 304, and you're gonna check into a place, and then the rest of you, are you gonna also be going that way, or are you all gonna all separate and go different places? Because I know with that Eric McMillan is something else y'all might be checking out, right?
Yeah, I figure go and get checked into the hotel and everything, and the party can kind of make a plan of what we want to do, and if there's anything else that we want to look for.
Okay.
Because Clint's problem is being taken care of by Arthur, so he doesn't really have anything else on the docket. Unless you're going to replace him as a pilot, in which case Clint needs to find some work.
Okay. What about Spencer, Arthur? Do y'all have any thoughts on what's next?
I was hoping to enlist Aston's help, and this is a place where we can down a body. Maybe not.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what kind of black market wares they might have on a place like this. That's even considered. It is considered black market in this neck of the woods, right?
Well, it's just the most likely place to find them. I mean, you don't just walk into, even though it's not exactly illegal. It's just that you don't exactly walk into a Kia dealership and buy a body. Does that make sense? I mean, you usually contract to buy a clone backup for yourself, as opposed to just saying, "Hey, I want a meat puppet to play around with." You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So, especially given that you're literally wanting to buy a meat suit for a kid, which is a little creepier.
Yes.
Do you understand the implications there?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I was thinking,
yeah.
Like, if that's how they kind of operate in this system, either it would either have to be something custom or some extremely wealthy family have one for like a kid or something, and they don't need it, or it could just be us having to hunt around.
Well, one of you guys can make a common knowledge roll about this setting if you want to know more about how it tends to operate in this setting. But it'll be a really hard roll, probably, like a -4.
Try it.
Or maybe even Streetwise, if it's actually Streetwise isn't a skill anymore. Duh. Forgot. New Savage Worlds Edition. Yeah, common knowledge roll a -4.
I'd have to like ace out of this.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be really hard. You just get lucky. So, essentially.
No.
Yeah, you don't really have any clue as to how likely it'll work. But that's the reason why you came to a place to ask people, right?
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So we've got a direction and a plan of action for next session. I know we've only played like 3 hours, but as I spoke to Brandon when we first talked, that's usually how long our sessions are. So we've got a plan of action for the next session. I know we did a lot of role playing this session, but we got everybody together and we've got a next plan of action for what happens next. Thank you ever for joining us. Next session will probably I think it'll be pretty interesting to see what the players do and where it goes from here. We've also got some solutions for what's going on for like the thing in Clint's head. Also, you guys will be surprised at what I got planned in store for. Yeah, I know, right? I don't know if it dawned on you guys the idea of like looking for a kid's clone body. Like it didn't dawn on. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it did, but it's just it's just a weird idea. But anyways, so it'll be interesting. Trust me, I think you guys will really love what I got planned in store for the story. You think it got weird with zombies and cyber wolves? It's about to get weirder. So,
Well, I got a quick question before we sign off.
Yeah.
Just being a little new to it. Do the adventure cards carry over, or are they reshuffled every?
they're reshuffled every session, so use them if you got them.
Then I would like to get a clue on where to find a child's body.
Nice. Very cool. Okay.
Killing it with the adventure cards.
Play this card for an advice from the game master on how to resolve a current predicament or problem, or to find all the clues or evidence in a particular scene. Okay. Well, when you're okay.
You just want to trot out that information.
Then we'll say this. This is what happened when everybody's getting off the ship. When everybody's getting off the ship, the first time someone mentioned what their goal was here to you was Spencer when he said something about looking for a body for a kid. The first time they said something about it was Spencer, and you overheard him. And you immediately thought of a wolf crew that can often be found docked here and that operates in this sector of space that call themselves the Wraith. They run bodies, black market bodies of the Vicanians. Basically, they deal reject bodies with the Vicanians. They are the best source of bodies for the Vicanians. And I'll let you make a common knowledge roll at a -2 penalty. Since you're from here, instead of the -4.
Damn. That's an 8.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry, the fire.
Still raised though. The Wraith. You don't know how they got that nickname because the GM's got to hold some cards close to his chest.
Mm-hmm.
But they are known to be a little off their rocker. But that's pretty much their shtick, right? They collect bodies from the Vicanians, and then they basically just go out amongst the different Vicanian, different systems and stars. Angry Mob TV, thank you so much for giving the crew a raise. Appreciate it so much. And that gives the party 3, right? And they go out amongst the space that the jump cannons and all that kind of stuff that the Vicanians operate, and then they just put them out among the black market. Bodies of all different kinds. Okay. While they may run rejected soldiers the most bodies, they still get kids, old people, that kind of stuff. Essentially, they have minor defects usually that make them not chosen for the clientele they usually run. But that's what they do. And you're most likely to find them here, if not on their ship. This is their favorite place to go. The Wraith.
Let's go talk to the crazy body runners. Yay.
The thing to know though about them is that they're known to be a little off their rocker.
All right.
We have hexagon. I'm just saying, we're a little weird ourselves.
I wish it equated. Don't really equate because they're
You're like,
cuckoo
you
for
haven't
Cocoa
met these
Puffs.
guys.
Yeah, they're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah.
If you think Arthur's a little crazy with his second personality, wait.
Aston. Yeah.
You don't know Arthur might have one too.
So, Angry Mob TV, thank you for the raise. The cool thing about raises is the party gets to keep those until the next session. Thank you for helping us out. Join us next week at the same time. We're going to wrap it up here. Join us next week at the same time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be playing the same game, picking up players. Will maybe have to negotiate with some wolves or pirates in most sessions. There's a reason why they call wolves in our game. I can get in that next session if you guys want to. So, but we're going to wrap it here. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. But before we leave, real quick, shout out from Cliff for his channel. You can find him over at Quest and Cliffhangers, where he runs D&D. You said, unfortunately, though, Savage Worlds is over, though, right?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to start another game up though.
Oh, well, there you go. So something else will start up. So, but he runs D&D on Thursday nights. You can also find Matt and his art over at his art station and his Fine Art America archive. He also does commissions. But anyways, thank you everyone for joining us. And you can also find these videos on YouTube. Hit like and subscribe if you watch there. Also, click follow. Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Have a good night.